I didn't have my microphone plugged in. Can you hear me? Do I sound correct? Looks like everything's correct. Hello, Ellen, Amy, Zydias, and Luca. And whoever else is here, because it says there's 6. Oi. Oi. It's witch time. Nope, not again. I don't need to hear the opening theme again. I've had quite enough. It starts up a little too quickly for my liking. I wish it gave you a little bit more time on the screen. Shall we get this show on the road? Whoa. I like this song. Yeah. This would make a really good beat sample. There's yeah. Have you started your preposterously long solving Umineko document yet? No, I haven't. But I know you've got yours. So the way I feel about that, I wanted to touch on this a little bit before I started the game. Like, I have not felt compelled in any way to solve the game. And I've kind of talked about this before, that like when it comes to mystery stories, I always feel like, well, I'm going to see the ending if I read the whole story. If it's still confusing after then I'll start thinking about it in more depth, you know. Oh my god, this is dangerous. Ellen with 10 real. I, Ellen Horai, have a credit card. People with dissociative disorders shouldn't be allowed to have credit cards. So you don't know who's spending your money. I only started feeling compelled at the end of episode 3, and you're reading the manga. Maybe I will get there. It's possible. I guess, so where I'm at with it right now, and I was thinking about why do I not feel the need to solve it, and a lot of it is just the characters I empathize with the most in the story are Beatrice and Maria. And they're the ones who seem the most like confident and like they're just totally okay with what's happening because it's all according to plan. So I haven't felt like uncomfortable yet by circumstances, you know? So like if we reach a point where Beatrice is feeling sincerely threatened, you know, or where there's like, because in Maria's case, she's just so trapped by circumstances that she's basically at the whim of whether Beatrice succeeds or not, you know? Otherwise, she's just going to keep being in an abusive situation with her mom. Everyone else in the cast has a tremendous amount of power in, like, changing who they are or living a better life than what they've chosen to. And while this game does kind of show you the generational curse of like, yeah, they were raised this way, that's why they are this way. Nonetheless, there are a lot of characters that are difficult to be sympathetic towards in this story. But it's easy to be sympathetic towards Maria, and I think Beatrice as well, because even though I don't really understand her circumstances, it like the tone of the story is that she is the most trapped, in the situation. I was getting in the mood to solve stuff a while back, but apparently I lost it after the hiatus. It was really it's more like right before that was when the demons started showing up and shit, and that was when I was like, okay, there's no making sense of this without understanding all of the mechanics of it. So like I pretty much checked out of like thinking I was ever gonna make any until they explain how a fucking demon shows up. Then like it seems really goofy to me that Battler is let me put it this way. The conceit of this story being that Battler is doubting magic, while the situation of the story is that he is in an atemporal void, like witnessing a story secondhand or whatever, is like, it's baffling to even suggest that that's what the fuck is the answer other than magic? Like, what are you talking about? Like, he seems like an abject moron for denying magic. Like, his denial of magic makes him just seem like the dumbest. It's to me like being somebody who calls himself straight. It's just like, I don't know, man, you can call yourself straight, but what does it really mean? Like, in light of everything you're facing, So, episode 3 helps you understand some of it, but for now it's fine to go with the flow. Yeah, maybe that will make me feel differently, but like, as soon as the demons showed up and then Kanan had a sword, I was like, Battler, you're like arguing about the semantics of how the door puzzle works, and there's demons. Like, you're just gonna put that out of the conversation for now? Okay. Anyway, let's jump into it with Rosa.
Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san? What in the world is going on?
Ah, Shannon! Thank goodness you're safe. If something had happened to you,
George-sama.
George-kun, be quiet for a second. A murder occurred before your very eyes, right?
did you see the culprit? Or not? That is, how should I explain? Genji-san. Even we cannot explain what we saw very well. It certainly, happened right before our eyes. It was right in front of my eyes. But still, that, what was that? Even I do not understand. See, exactly.
What are you saying?
It's impossible for you to have met anyone other than the witch Beatrice, whose location has been unknown since last night. Or Kanon-kun, who has gone missing. Was it a man or a woman? You should be able to tell me at least that much, right? Auntie Rosa, calm down a bit. Anyone would be confused if two people were taken out right in front of them. Goda-san, Genji-san, there's no need to rush. Tell us what happened, one thing at a time. About that, how should I say it? Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san had been killed. We understood that much, and it seemed that it had occurred in front of their eyes. But even so, they spoke awkwardly. They admitted that they had definitely seen the crime with their own two eyes, but when asked to explain what they had seen, their mouths went suddenly shut. I could understand why Auntie Rosa was irritated and losing her patience. Shannon, did you see it? When Dr. Nanjo was attacked?
Yes.
Tell me, just what you understand. What in the world happened?
The back door. In through there.
Hold on. Somebody screen grab this real quick.
That's right. Someone came up to the back door. Then, wondering who it was, I opened the door.
Someone at the back door? Who was it?
Let them finish. And after that,
That person was stained with blood and had a large wound. We carried them to the servant room and Dr. Nanjo immediately began first aid. It was a very deep wound.
For the last time, who are you talking about?
I don't know. Certainly, in the beginning I thought I knew. No, I still think it was. But what in the world was that? I don't know.
he's all fucking Cthulhu, I guess. In a manner that didn't match his large body, Goda held his head and scratched at it. I didn't have a clue whether he was confused because he couldn't remember, or whether he was confused because he had seen something terrifying and couldn't accept it. Sounds like the latter to me, if I had to guess. And Shannon looked the same way. If she let her guard down, what she had seen just a short while ago would quickly melt away like a daydream, and she wouldn't even be able to remember what she saw. That's what she looked like. Only Genji looked composed as usual, so the questions were naturally directed at Genji. But even Genji had to take quite some time to gather his thoughts before he opened his mouth.
Genji-san, you saw it, right? Who was the person that came in through the back door?
At first, we believed that person was Kanon.
You see? He was alive after all! My reasoning was correct!
By at first, you mean that your impression changed later, right?
Yes. I cannot explain with words what happened after that. It killed Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa, then disappeared. At that time, it was definitely not Kanon. Yes, that's right. It's just as Genji-san says. You really couldn't explain it with words.
Do you have the same opinion? I always want, like, every time I see her, when she comes on screen, just the way that they draw her tits is so intense that it always reminds me of in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged how my Valentine would always show up and she'd be like, my boobs are saying that it's time for us to whatever, you know, like, I want her to be like speaking out of her tits somehow.
Yes, I can only say the same thing as well.
If we interpreted what they were saying favorably, it meant that Auntie Rosa's conclusion had been correct from the beginning. Kanon-kun had appeared from the back door in the kitchen with a serious injury. Then he had been taken to the servant room and cared for. Then something terrifying had happened. Since these people couldn't imagine that Kanon-kun could have pulled that off, they had started to suspect whether that had really been Kanon-kun. Is that how things are? In other words, this meant Kanon-kun had appeared. No matter how confused they were, no matter how they muddled their words, that's what it meant in the end. So had Kanon-kun indeed used some trick to escape that room while it was locked? No, that doesn't matter anymore. The real problem is that Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed. Auntie Rosa had claimed that Kanon-kun was behind this from the very beginning. No matter how confused they became and no matter how much they had tried to deny it, they were halfway saying that it was the truth. But even so, for some reason, it felt like their awkwardness couldn't be explained just by confusion. What had they seen? Like they said, had they really seen something unexplainable with words? Auntie Rosa, having decided that she wouldn't be able to get any more out of them, concluded her questioning, and said that she wanted to check the two bodies. I was also interested in that. Even if these people didn't have a clue what was going on in their confusion, if those of us who hadn't been at the scene calmly looked at the bodies, we might find something. But it was a little surprising that Auntie Rosa was also concerned about the bodies, just like I was. Even at this point, I still wanted to expose the culprit and the truth myself, if we could find any clues. But Auntie Rosa should have been different. Hadn't Auntie Rosa's plan given a higher priority to staying safe than to finding the culprit? I couldn't really see why Auntie Rosa wanted to check the body so badly that she would deliberately leave our fort in the parlor.
We will all go to the servant room together. If we all move together, it'll be safe. Maria, stop that scribbling now.
Not scribbling. Solving Beatrice's problem.
Beatrice's problem? What's that? Tell me too. Auntie Rosa, are you bringing Maria-chan too? It seemed that George Eineke had some resistance to bringing Maria to the bloody crime scene. But taking into consideration the fact that Maria would be left alone here, it would surely be much safer if we took Maria with us. In the end, it was just Aneki's irresponsible humanism. We just what a phrase. It's like Nate's weird utilitarianism. It's Aneki's irresponsible humanism. We decided that all of us, including Maria, would go to the servant room. I guess it would be the opposite of weird utilitarianism. The bed in the servant room was stained with bright red blood. No, not just the bed. The whole room was covered with a gruesome paint from countless bloodstains. That dreadful scene alone was enough to give us an idea of the repulsive sight they had been trying to describe. You wait here with me, Maria-chan, okay? George Eineke was standing by the entrance, covering Maria's eyes with his back to the room. He probably didn't want to dirty an innocent girl's retinas with the repulsive red in this room. That was surely the correct decision. I was acting tough right now, so I didn't mind, but I would probably remember this room and start to vomit whenever I saw red paint scattered around for the rest of my life. My retinas already had this room burned into them. In other words, it was too late for me. Huh? Where did they... Right after they entered the servant room, Goda-san and Shannon-chan appeared flustered. We shook, wondering what horrible new situation had arisen to fluster them for a second time. What happened? What is it? Auntie Rosa had shuddered, raising her gun high, and searched for whatever it was that had them shaken. But she couldn't find it, which wasn't surprising. They were shaken because they couldn't find it. Hey, what in the world's going on? The two bodies aren't there. What do you mean?
That can't be. Those two are definitely here.
Wait. What the hell? Are you saying the corpses just walked off somewhere? How could that happen? I mean, wasn't the servant room locked? Didn't you unlock the door when you came in just now, Goda-san? So then what? Isn't this the same as Jessica's room? They've disappeared from inside a locked room again? That's ridiculous. I don't have a clue what happened either. When we left this room, we definitely locked it, and I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. There was a timid and pitiful smile on Goda-san's face that he definitely wouldn't have let show normally. Shannon was the same. Both their corpses disappeared, and furthermore, they disappeared while the door was locked. Even if the culprit was Kanon-kun, he shouldn't be holding a master key anymore.
That's wrong. Kanon-kun is not the culprit.
Shannon? I believe Shannon. Kanon-kun is not the culprit. This must be the doing of someone who looks a lot like him. Okay, just another guy happens to be around who looks a lot like him, sure. No, Kanon-kun could have gotten a master key. After all, his master key was found in the pocket of Jessica-chan's body. And who took that key? That's right. It was Dr. Nanjo. That's right. Back then, it definitely had been Dr. Nanjo who searched through Jessica's clothes and found the master key. So if someone had the opportunity to search Dr. Nanjo's corpse, it would have been easy for them to take the master key back. Auntie Rosa searched under the bed and in the locker. By now, I also understood what that meant. If you assumed that there had been two culprits, it could be easily explained. The first person was Kanon-kun, or maybe an imposter that looked like him. He had finished off Dr. Nanjo and ran off somewhere. The second person was probably the 19th person, Beatrice, whose location was unknown. She had hidden under the bed in the servant room beforehand, and with Dr. Nanjo's body still enshrined here, she had waited for Genji-san and the rest to leave. Then after that, she had crawled out, taken the master key back from Dr. Nanjo's pocket, and carried the two bodies away for some reason. If she had then locked the door with the master key, this locked room would be created. You constructed that one pretty fast with your reasoning from Jessica's room as a premise. With that method, you can indeed create a locked room even without magic. Should I give you passing marks? However, as truly fascinating as it was, there is something you must not forget. If the culprit had taken the master key back by the method you say, that culprit would have to have known that Nanjo had taken the master key from Jessica's body. You don't have to tell me that. You're probably trying to say that it's information only the people in that place at that time could know. This third locked room was crushed so fast you can't do anything but gripe. There's no art in repeating the same content. Even though there's no art in repeating the same content, dog, that's the... Coming out of this game, that is the most obscene thing. I feel like it had to have been self-parody for him to have said that. Even though I was acting tough, that move of the witches hurt bad. I could feel cracks forming in the thing I most wanted to deny. She's trying to close in on me from two directions. On the one hand, there's the frontal attack, where she tries to... I'll take a frontal attack from Beatrice. On the one hand, there's the frontal attack, where she tries to force me to believe in witches, using locked room tricks that only a witch could do. And on the other hand, there's the rear attack. I could also take a rear attack from Beatrice, where she tries to lure me into thinking that it would be better if there was a witch, by strengthening my suspicions of those close to me. In the first locked room, the chapel, she had used a frontal attack, but it hadn't worked on me. That's undoubtedly why with the second locked room and now the third, she started to change the direction of her attack. However, the fact that she was changing the direction of her attack also proved that my resistance was working a little, and she had surely given up on the frontal attack because she couldn't just win directly with it. I tried to force myself to accept my own position by thinking that, but it seemed that the witch had seen through these thoughts of mine long ago. The frontal attack is indispensable. The rear attack only has meaning because it advances at the same time as the frontal attack. If I were to degenerate into only using the rear attack, it would be nothing more than a foolish plan occurring when my means became my goal. Really? Well then, won't you repeat no one was hiding in the servant room in that bed you're so proud of? There is no need. The premise of your reasoning is about to be destroyed. Oh? You decline? So someone really is hiding. Rosa will destroy your premise right now. Well, try listening in. Please believe us, Rosa-sama. The two bodies were certainly lying here. The bright red blood on the floor is theirs. Auntie Rosa began to search through the various objects around the room, her back to Goda-san as he cried out in supplication. Eventually, she found something and for a while stopped moving. Rosa-sama, we definitely aren't lying. The two bodies were definitely here. Quiet down. The person who hid the corpses has confessed that they took them to another place. With this. Rosa showed them a single piece of paper over her shoulder. Sheet of paper. What on earth is that? It couldn't be a letter in a sealed envelope with crest, just like in the chapel. Yes, that's right. It was set here out in the open. I'll read it. People of the Ushiromiya family, I wonder if your attempts at solving the epitaph's riddle for the gold are reaching a climax. Solving the riddle of the epitaph is the single method by which you all can stop me. You will not be able to stop me or the ritual by way of any other method of any kind. I ask of all of you that you take care not to mistake your goal. Attempting to search for me is useless. Attempting to escape from me is useless. Attempting to deny me is also useless. Beatrice the Golden. P.S. I borrowed the two bodies for the ritual. I will return them later, so please accept my apologies. Furthermore, since these keys belong to all of you, I shall return them. As Rosa read that aloud, the contents of the envelope lay exposed on the palm of her hand. They were two master keys, the master key that Nanjo had found in Jessica's pocket, which had originally been Kanon's, and Kumasawa's master key. What the hell? So what does that mean? Damn you again? You're saying I can only suspect the servants holding the keys again? I haven't said it in red, you know. I haven't denied the possibility that at the time they locked the door and left, someone was hiding in this room. If they were hiding under the bed, it wouldn't have been impossible for them to have carried the corpses away somewhere. But that way they couldn't lock the door. The master key they went to all that trouble to get their hands on was set down right here. That's right, I'd forgotten. What about the keys specifically for this room, the servant room keys? Those are in the key box in the center of the servant room. There are several servant room keys, but all of those are inside the key box. Which means that the situation isn't any different from the time with the key to Jessica's room. It's not like the servants would walk around with an unnecessary key when they have those convenient master keys. I can accept that they were all still shut away in the key box. And nothing has changed in the other conditions. Entry and exit are impossible except for the single door and the single window. Therefore, hidden doors and irregular methods of entry cannot exist. Rejoice, great detectives! And those were both locked. The door and the window do not permit any kind of entry or exit when they are locked. So it won't work to remove the door, make it crack to slide in through, or anything like that while the lock is maintained. And obviously it is impossible to unlock the door without the servant room key or a master key. It's a pain having to read all these aloud every time. Sooner or later I should think of some word to abbreviate all of this into a single phrase. But you can't repeat that no one was hiding in this room. However, that alone won't break open the door of a locked room. Ah, damn it! It's no good, no goddamn good at all! What happened to that flipping over the chessboard thing that you're so proud of? Please announce your boastful strange theories. Flip over the chessboard? What would I do if I were the culprit? I carry the corpses off somewhere. I leave a letter. I lock the door from the inside. Then I just have to escape this room by some means. Damn it, is that even possible? I was told in red that you can't get outside except by the door or the window. After that moment, I got it. That's right. Carry the corpses, leave the letter, and not rely on a hidden door. In other words, not even able to escape. That's it. This isn't a question, it's an answer. Beto, before my repetition request, I want to check the definition of these hidden doors that you're talking about. What have you thought of? Very well, I'll explain. A hidden door refers to an entrance or exit that cannot be recognized by those who do not know of it. Even children know that. So in other words, you can't get outside the room with it. If you can't get outside the room with it, it isn't a hidden door. Oh, that angle. I kept thinking that the culprit had escaped the locked room. That's wrong. It's a parasite situation. Even the culprit couldn't escape the locked room. So the culprit decided to hide until we passed by. I had used this theory for the second locked room and reasoned that Kanon-kun might have done this. But I had given up that reasoning when I was told Kanon-kun was killed in red. And next I had reasoned that if there had been a third person in the room, it would have been possible for them to escape through a hidden door. And that was when, for the first time, the claim had been made in red that no hidden doors exist. And what I'd learned just now, these hidden doors the witch was talking about referred to things that made it possible to get into or out of the room. In other words, things that didn't permit entry or exit to the outside and also wouldn't be noticed if people who didn't know about them wouldn't fall under the definition of hidden door. My friend John is calling me. Hey, what's up? Word. Well, unfortunately,
We are not. We're saving up money because we're gonna go pick up a Toyota Tundra in Arizona next month and then drive back across country. So we have to have money for that. I think Bird told you about that. It's good. It's great. I'm doing a live stream right now. No, you're good. I'm playing. You ever heard of Umineko no Naku Koro ni? Do you know Higurashi? That anime where the girls like keep killing each other over and over again? It's like a sequel to that basically, but this one's like a family in a mansion on an island, and everyone in the family keeps dying because of like a witch's ritual. Also, I took my also I stole my name from it. I literally stole the name Beatrice because of the witch from the game. Yeah. Check it out sometime, although it is unfathomably fucking long, so it might be better to just watch me play it. I'm like in chapter 2 out of 8, and I'm already like 40 fucking hours into the game. It's really fucking long, yeah. It's like a One Piece type of an experience in terms of density and length. Yeah. He said it's like sounds like trying to play Oblivion. Yeah. Alright, I gotta get back to it. Peace out. Alright. Yeah. Alright, later. That's John, who I wanted to voice act that character from Sunops. I want him to play the tiger, but we never got around to recording it when he was around. Okay. Anyway. Umineko by the writer of Silent Hill F. That's true, too. In other words, things that didn't permit entry or exit to the outside and also wouldn't be noticed by people who didn't know about them wouldn't fall under the definition of hidden door. Yeah. In other words, if there were, for example, something like a hidden shelf or a secret closet, they wouldn't be defined as hidden doors. In other words, the third person in Jessica's room was hiding here, waiting for us to pass by. How pathetic. Just a little playing around with words. Oh, really? Really? Beatrice was playing around with words? Really? With this method, it looks like I can even manage the third locked room, the servant room. If there's a hidden shelf under the bed or anything like that, that would be enough. The culprit's hiding somewhere, waiting for us to leave. The culprit is also trapped in the locked room even now, which means, at this very moment, the culprit is still hiding in the servant room, holding their breath. And that means, what the hell? Even though we've been tortured with locked rooms 3 times, in this very moment we've actually gotten the culprit in checkmate. I finally started to see it. Take this, Beto. Repetition requested. There is no one in this room other than us. By us, I mean me, Georgianiki, Maria, Auntie Rosa, Genji-san, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan, alright? Well, you can't say it, can you? I'll bet I hit you where it hurts. If you decline, then say you decline, damn it. Here comes the next one. Repetition requested. I don't know how they're hiding in this room, but if that's a fact, then this also resolves the second locked room, Jessica's room, at the same time. I finally caught her by the tail. With this, I can explain everything. Witches don't exist. I don't have to doubt anyone. That's a leap. Alright, starting now, I'll flip it over. The next thing I'll request is she repeat is... No one exists in this room except your group. Your group refers to Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, and Shannon. Let's go back to Jessica's room. At the time of Jessica's corpse discovery, only Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, Shannon, Kumasawa, and Nanjo were in Jessica's room.
Oops. The corpse of Jessica is also included, of course. Therefore, both in the case of Jessica's room and the case of this servant's room, no humans exist that you were not aware of. No one is hiding. And I'll say more. No method exists by which the doors can be locked from the outside without using a key. Regarding the windows, no method exists by which they could somehow be locked from the outside. And while I'm at it, you are incompetent!
Son of a bitch. Then it really is a locked room, isn't it? It was so hard to think of, too. If you'd been hiding, that explanation would fit everything. Just when I thought I'd broken the trick. Damn it! Jigsaw! Kusa! It's no good, no good, no good, no goddamn good. For a second, I thought I had it. It was no goddamn good at all. Beatrice, you bitch. I thought you were all smoke and mirrors playing word games that made clever use of red. I was certain you just cleverly deceived me. Just when I thought I'd seen a light in the darkness, it disappeared. It just disappeared, swallowed up by a blood red sea. You were away. Away in a sea of red. Red. Red, 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 red. No one is hiding. And there's no hidden door and no way to trick the doors or the windows while they're locked. Have you just proven that it's all impossible? Has the devil's proof been pulled off with a frontal attack? Impossible. This is impossible.
What's wrong, Yushiryomi Battler? Weren't you so confident you could deny witches? Why are you groveling and wringing out bitter tears in a place like that? Oh, yes, that's a really wonderful method. Truly wonderful how you're trying to make me fall over laughing. You're trying to deceive the tears of my own laughter. That's what you're trying to do, really, right? You're trying to make me laugh and laugh myself to death, right?
Magic? Screw that. I'll definitely deny witches exist. I'll never believe in you. You used the power of magic and bullied and killed everyone for fun? I'm never gonna accept that!
Hey, Battler. Sorry for bullying you too much. I'll flip over the chessboard from my side. I'll teach your side the best move in your place.
Screw you, I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear!
The case of Jessica's room, you really struck on a good spot, you know. Trying to hide and wait for you to pass by, that truly was a good observation. But why did you think that could only be Kanon or me, the 19th person? I see. The hide part of hide and wait for you to pass must have gotten in the way, so you didn't think that far. Look, now do you understand? It's Jessica. Jessica!
If Jessica were the culprit, a farce like this could easily be constructed. She killed Kanon-kun and carried him off somewhere. Then she played dead and let us walk by. But that's ridiculous. Dr. Nanjo had definitely checked that she was dead. So is Dr. Nanjo an accomplice too? That's wrong. I had also made sure that Jessica was really dead. Sure, I'd never performed an examination of her corpse before, but she was definitely dead. I think she was dead. No, she probably, surely, definitely, at least I think so, but she has to be. No. She was dead. No, she drank that shit from Romeo and Juliet. That makes you seem dead. She was dead!
Jessica was also an accomplice. And Nanjo, who examined her corpse, was also an accomplice. Then the third locked room was a farce.
Yeah, then it's simple. Dr. Nanjo is an accomplice, so in other words, he was on the culprit side. So in other words,
He was never killed in the first place? They thought he had been killed and the body had disappeared, but he wasn't in the servant room in the first place? Then is Kumasawa Bachan, who disappeared with him, also an accomplice? That's not all. The servants who were going along with that story, Genji-san and Goda-san, and even Shannon-chan are accomplices. Then the one who stole the key from Maria's handbag was Jessica. No, it's also possible it was George Heineke. After all, if Shannon-chan was on the culprit side, then George Heineke would automatically be on the culprit side as well. Wait a second. They're all wolves. Not only am I drowning in an ocean of bright red blood, there are packs of wolves clamoring on the banks whose blazing eyes tell me that if I crawl out, they'll eat me. Which way should I die? Will I have everything denied and drown in a bright red sea? Will I know the truth and have my whole body chewed to bits by the wolves? It's either one hell or the other. This feels like this is like... I've got this analysis of the album Francis the Mute that I haven't been working on, but have worked on to an extent, where part of it is my theory is that the main character is dying, and like they're kind of dying in waves where like it keeps washing over them that like, oh fuck, I'm like they'll remember a bunch of their life story and then they'll kind of go back to, oh fuck, I'm dying, and keep like returning to that center point. So it feels here like he's remembered that he is in fact still dying, like he's been in a dying state this whole chapter. I can't choose. That is why I am here. Come on, Ushiromiya battler, kneel. Then swear your eternal loyalty and lick my shoes. If you accept me, all of the riddles will be resolved. With my power, any kind of locked room can be created or destroyed. Battler, don't you want to abandon yourself to the joy of surrendering to one with power? I'll make you my favorite piece of furniture. I'll love you so much and make you my toy until you turn to ashes. She's evil. Now it's clear. There's no longer any reason to doubt. What do you mean by that? Those two that you kept saying were dead aren't here. And now we have the letter from Beatrice where she was kind enough to confess that she carried the corpses off. That's what it is. It is what it is. Oh, Jesus. I've had enough of this farce! As Auntie Rosa yelled this, she looked over at everyone with a harsh expression. And also raised her gun. Farce? What do you mean? I said it in Jessica-chan's room. You can't trust anyone but yourself and those whose corpses have been found. Hold on. I need a screen grab of that. That is the hardest shit I have ever heard. Let me real quick put that into a screen grab. Bars. Absolute bars. You can't trust anyone but yourself and those whose corpses have been found. I'm gonna put that in a song someday for sure. And since we cannot find the corpses, there's no reason we should accept that those two were killed. Please wait, Auntie Rosa. What do you mean by that? Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san aren't dead, they're alive. They made it seem like they were killed and they are hiding somewhere in this mansion. So that they can attack us! How could you know that? Are you saying that Goda-san and the rest are lying? Rosa-sama, I swear, no, all of the Ushiromiya family servants do. We all swear that we would do nothing of the sort.
You all say that those two were killed, but since there are no corpses, there's no reason to believe that. There's a chance that you worked out a story beforehand, and that you're lying about that. There's a good way to prove your innocence, isn't there? For Dr. Nanjo's and Kumasawa-san's bodies to be found. If we find them, then maybe I'll start listening to your story. But until we do, you cannot deny that you are all wolves.
You too. And you. You were all probably bought by that witch, your eyes blinded with gold. Do you really want money that much? That's right, isn't it? You want to play around for the rest of your life? What isn't that kind of life worth? Ask yourself, Rosa, you projecting bitch. This idea is for $5. Trying to set up Cash App but having card verification issues. Hope this helps regardless. No problem. And hey, another way, if you wanna, if you don't live in like a country that has Cash App or Venmo, just go to itch.io and buy Legacy Raiders. Because it's no matter what country you live in, you can buy stuff on itch.io and they take like no overhead. And this is Ellen's visual novel, so you know it's another way to support the channel because she's the administrator. And also, she's the main reason I play Umineko. Is I only do it when Ellen's around. So, you know, you all have Ellen's insistence to thank for this happening, basically. And she needs the money.
Rosa-sama, we couldn't.
Silence.
And Shannon, don't get any closer. I can't believe that you would repay a 10-year-long debt of gratitude with betrayal. I'll pull the trigger without mercy. How could you? It's too cruel.
Auntie Rosa, that's horrible. A murder occurred in this room. Then the culprit carried the corpses away. They are only honestly reporting that to us. Shannon had finally broken down in tears. She had sacrificed 10 years to the Ushiromiya family. She had sacrificed 10 of the most brilliant years of her life. And she had believed that she had built up a friendly relationship with Rosa as well. And this was how she was treated. You could kill a person without using a knife. It wasn't just George Aniki. Even I could recognize that Shannon-chan had been stabbed deep into her heart as blood by the name of tears flowed out. Shannon-san, stay back. Rosa-sama, it is true that I have not served for many years, and I understand that I have not earned your trust. However, could you not at least believe Shannon-san? She has dedicated a full 10 years of service to the Ushiromiya family. I'm not telling you to believe me. At the very least, would you at least believe Shannon-san? But I don't understand anymore. I don't understand. We can't seek an answer without suspecting them. That's it. Bit by bit, I'm starting to understand. I don't understand. That's it. Bit by bit, I'm starting to understand. It's because we seek an answer. He's becoming wise. It's because we seek an answer. That's why everything keeps getting stranger. That's another fucking bar I'm gonna hold on to, actually. Sorry that this is such a fucking time-consuming method of screen cap, but danger. It's because we seek an answer that everything keeps getting stranger. We don't need an answer. See, now he's on my vibe. Now we're starting to understand each other. Amy World with 5. I want Umineko to be my isekai so I can bang the evil out of Rosa. God, if you're real, make it happen. If you look like her, send me a DM. Ooh. Amy, don't stick your dick in crazy. I'm just saying, like, if she looks like that, that's fine. Make sure she doesn't have this personality. You can't bang the evil out of her. It's not possible. It doesn't work that way. You want it to. It doesn't work that way. The evil, to quote In Clothes Called Fat by Moyoko Ano, the fat is in their soul. It doesn't matter the shape of their body. We don't need an answer. These are all strange murders committed with bizarre magic by the 19th person, the witch Beatrice, as she follows a creepy ritual.
Isn't that good enough? I don't want to suspect anyone anymore. Shanon-chan and Goda-san were protesting their innocence half in tears. Genji-san quietly stopped that. Stop. What Rosa-sama says is quite right. Until we find the corpses, we cannot prove that Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa are innocent. That's right. By Rosa-san's argument, if the corpses could be found, then the innocence of at least those people could be proved. But only the people who were corpses. Even if they searched around the mansion and found the corpses, in the end, their own innocence would not be proved. They had abducted Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san, killed them in another place, and locked the room with their own master keys. Unless the locked room could be broken by a method other than that one, it would be impossible to prove their innocence. But that couldn't be done. They only have one chance to prove their innocence. That can only happen when they meet with the culprit, become corpses, and are reunited with Auntie Rosa. That's messed up. Innocent if they die, guilty as long as they live, almost like a witch's trial. Oh right, the enemy is a witch. So that makes it okay? Yeah, I do legitimately feel like Battler caught up to the way that I have felt throughout this chapter. And so maybe I'm on the right wavelength. Rosa-sama, we are furniture working for the Ushiromiya family. Whether we are trusted by you or not, that is not our concern. No matter what assessment you give us, we will only continue to serve until our final hour.
You really are a model servant. I truly understand why Father trusts you. It is truly heartrending that I must suspect even you.
Genji-san stuck his hand into his pocket and pulled out a master key. Then he set it on an adjacent table. I believe that I hold this as a proof of trust. If that has been lost, I think it is only natural that I return it. Damn. Real.
That's good judgment. Those master keys are the greatest basis upon which you have been suspected several times today. Relinquishing them in order to clear away that suspicion may only be a first step. But, well, I think it isn't a bad start.
You too.
Genji-san looked at Goda-san and Shanon-chan. The two of them nodded and set their own master keys onto the table. Negotiation. You know, because she's got a fucking gun. Auntie Rosa laid the two master keys that had come out of the envelope on top. With that, all 5 master keys were gathered in this place. Just piece of advice. If you're pointing a gun at somebody, don't trust anything that they say. In other words, this was proof that all of the servants' service until today had been negated, and even the final honor that they should have been permitted had been stripped from them.
Maria,
give me that handbag.
Give it back!
Auntie Rosa snatched Maria's handbag, tossed all the master keys in there noisily, and then lifted one out and held it up for all to see. She was announcing that she had all of the master keys. Are you satisfied now, Auntie Rosa? Now the only master keys are the ones you are holding yourself. I hope you're satisfied.
Yes, I'm satisfied. Even if I can't trust anyone, I can at least trust myself.
You're the last person who should trust yourself. Actually, if I were Auntie Rosa, the first life change I would make is to stop trusting myself entirely and trust everyone around me more. Then I trust myself. That would be my first change if I were her. We've heard of Auntie Rosa, but where's Auntie Rosa?
I've been able to get the gun and all the master keys for myself.
Yeah, you are a real bully.
Now I don't have to suspect anyone.
Who are you, the government? Are you the fucking...
You're all happy too, right? Now you don't have to be suspected anymore.
She really is she might be the best written Karen in fiction. Like she might be the most ultimate complete vision of a Karen that has ever been created. Like just down to the granular details about it. You actually have no idea how bad of a person Rosa is yet. I believe it.
Now you don't have to be suspected anymore.
Stupid bitch. I hate her so much. Then Maria, who had looked like a spectator off by herself, sneered at her mother. Auntie Rosa reacted nervously to that laugh and turned around.
Keys don't matter. Beatrice can open doors with magic. She doesn't need keys. It doesn't matter who has or doesn't have something like that.
Aren't I always telling you to stop laughing like that?
Hey, he got between them.
What is it, Battler-kun?
I just had to cut between the two of them. No, that's not it. I was on my knees and hugging Maria's head. I was crying. Just stop it already, Auntie Rosa. Maria was right. What are you talking about? Maria, I'm sorry for doubting. I'm sorry for not believing.
Battler?
It was all the witch's doing. The witches doing. All that stuff about tricks and locked room never mattered. This is me talking about capitalism. This is when I realized, like, oh, you could just blame Elon Musk for everything, actually. Like, you don't have to blame your friends. Don't worry about your coworkers. It's not their fault that they don't know how to do their job. Nobody taught them how to do their job. It's top down. Top down. It wasn't the witches doing in this case. It was Kinzo's doing, you know? But nonetheless, the problem is the top. Problems are at the top, you see, you know? It's just that the witch Beatrice actually exists. And she really was a witch. Because I didn't believe that, it was this painful, this sad.
Battler, you believe in Beatrice?
Yes, I believe Beatrice exists. And she's a witch who uses strange magic.
Battler?
Maria let go of my hand, and then she was the one holding my head.
That's the way, Battler. Beatrice existed.
Oh, interesting. Existed.
You just couldn't believe that easily, so couldn't see her. The witch exists.
Okay, she's using both words.
Exists.
Iru, which also means, like, is here. Like, it doesn't just mean exists, but it could also mean, like, literally is here in Japanese.
Will soon come.
Or also arrive.
You believed in Beato, so I'm sure you'll be invited to the Golden Land. Very soon. It'll be very soon. Nothing to be afraid of anymore. Not afraid, okay? Always be with me, holding hands, okay? Let's solve the epitaph's riddle together. Let's think about Beato's problem. Beato's been saying it from the beginning. She hasn't said anything other than let's play and solve the problem.
I get it. She just wants to do a let's play. Searching for the culprit was just a total waste of time. If only we had just believed in the witch. After softly brushing my cheek as my tears kept dripping down, Maria kissed my forehead as soft as a feather. For just that instant, Maria's smile, which I had once thought was creepy, looked like an angel. How sweet.
We have returned the Master Keys, but our loyalty to the Ushiromiya family will not change. From now on, we will not enter the parlor without permission. Rosa-sama, please lock the parlor from the inside.
You truly are an admirable person. When the typhoon passes, if the cries of the seagulls return to this island again, I wonder if we will be able to trust each other once more.
If you were to grant us your trust once again, there would be no greater pleasure.
You're right. We'll definitely be able to understand each other.
What a tone shift this scene has taken.
When the seagulls cry,
Oh boy, here we are again.
Umineko no naku koro ni. When the seagulls cry, you're gonna see the sea, baby. Ooh, ooh, it's a big old flock of seagulls at the Umineko. Ushiromiya docks, yeah.
It would probably be better if we left this room, as it is until the police come. Rosa-sama, if you would please lock it, we will return to the kitchen. If you need anything, please command us at any time.
Thank you. If you are a wolf, how shamelessly you speak. And if you are a sheep, I'm sorry for throwing you into the wolf cage.
Furniture entrusts its fate to the family. That's true. Yeah? Nope. Okay, I just didn't click hard enough, I guess. Even if it comes to throwing away this life, if by that your trust could be regained, it would be a great honor.
I hope that you can all remain healthy until the typhoon passes, if that is at all possible. This is all a rhapsody of blowing winds and pouring rain performed by the typhoon. When the performance ends and the curtain closes, we will surely be able to grasp hands together again. When the seagulls cry.
Wow, she really said it fucking twice. Auntie Rosa nodded in response. Genji-san turned on his heels. He left the servant room. Goda-san's face was still streaked with tears, but as he had listened to Genji-san's words, maybe he had managed to sort out his heart. His face had been truly shameful, but it had returned to the face of the Goda-san we all knew well. I will also be waiting in the kitchen. If you need anything, please command me at any time. If you wish for some warm food, I promise to have the very best prepared for you.
Thank you. I would like to ask you for breakfast tomorrow. And the boat will...
Fucking bitch, you shouldn't ask for shit after all that.
And the boat will probably come by midday tomorrow. Thanks for everything up until now.
Spit in her breakfast.
Your cooking was my only pleasure on Rokenjima.
Certainly. I promise you I will prepare a supreme breakfast. Please look forward to tomorrow morning.
Thank you. And Shannon-chan, tomorrow morning, let's make up while drinking...
I hit the button.
George-kun?
Yeah, don't forgive her. I'm going with them too.
It's alright, George-sama. Please, return to the parlor. There are no more Master Keys anymore. So if you are with Rosa-sama in the parlor, you won't be threatened by anyone.
That's right. That's how things are. Objectively speaking, I think that being with me in the parlor would be the safest. But I won't force you to stay with us. George-kun, you may stay in any place you feel is safe. You are already an adult. It's up to you where and with whom you spend the time until tomorrow morning.
Yes. I will decide by myself who I'll spend the night with. Not you, bitch. Aniki, he's definitely like, all this death going around my head, I need to get a nut. Battler-kun, stay with Auntie Rosa in the parlor. I'm sure that's safest. Do not interrupt what we are about to do. Compared to that, I think being outside the parlor isn't as safe. You might catch some flying nut if you step out of the parlor for even a second. I'm about to flood this mansion like that fucking, like the blood coming out of the elevator in The Shining, but it's cum. So I can't leave her in a place like that alone. It's not like I suspect Shannon-chan and the other servants. No, anyone at all. I don't want to suspect anyone. The inheritance? The gold? That's just stupid. There's no way people are killing each other over that. Yeah, I know better than anyone how pure your heart is, Battler-kun. No one will blame you. No one. Aniki.
It's okay. I'll protect you. If you're with me, even Beatrice can't lay a hand on you. Because even though I'm small, I'm a lich.
Yeah,
マリアちゃん、
Maria-chan,
バトラ君を
I'm leaving Battler Kun in your care. Alright, Shannon,
行こ
let's go.
Yes.
I almost just went.
Hi.
ローザ様
Rosa-sama, if you would
失
excuse
礼さ
me.
せてご用命がございま
If
し
you
た
have
ら
an order, please call
い
me
つ
at
でも
any
お呼び
time.
つけ
I'm sorry
さ
for
っきは
saying
ひどい
something
こと
so
言って
cruel
ごめん
just
な
now.
さい。明日の朝まで
I don't expect
許
you
さ
to
な
have
くても
forgiven me by tomorrow morning.
でも
But when tomorrow comes,
Ashita-no
let me
朝になったら
apologize again.
Yes.
ありがとうございま
Thank
す
you very much.
Fucking thank you for the opportunity to be apologized to again is fucking next level servant shit. George, Aniki, and Shannon-chan left the servant room together. Now only Maria, Auntie Rosa, and I were left in this disgusting blood-stained room. Until Genji-san disappeared, until Goda-san disappeared, until George, Aniki, and Shannon-chan disappeared. We stood there in a daze. After their presence and their footsteps had disappeared completely, Auntie Rosa giggled at them as though she had just remembered something pleasant. Of course.
何
You
も
can't
信用
trust
でき
them
ない
at
わよ
all. Fucking bitch.
家具どもが
Goddamn furniture. Fucking bitch. That one sentence made me choke. What? Why are
う。
you
そんなことを言うん
saying
だよ。
something like that? Oh shit.
マスターキーは5つ
There
で
are 5 master keys in
そんな
all.
の誰が
Who would
信じるの
believe that?
どうせ複製
It's
の鍵がある
obvious
に
that
決
some
まってるのよ
duplicate keys
彼らの
exist,
懐から
as if
鍵
we
を
could
出したく
trust
らい
them
で
just
信用
because
なん
they
かで
pulled
きるもの
keys
か
out of their pockets. That's not fair. But by setting down those keys, they weren't just letting go of the keys. You've made all their hard work count for nothing, disgraced it, trampled it, and caused them to give up the keys at the end of it all.
その捨て台詞は何
What's
だよ。
with that parting
ここ
line?
までしてみせ
They've
て。
shown that they're willing to go this far, and you still can't trust
あん
them?
まりだぜ。
Too much.
あ
That's
んまりだぜ、そんなのって。
too
悪
much.
魔の証明なんだ
It's a devil's proof. There are 5 master keys in all. It's impossible to prove something like that. You can show that there are 5 master keys by placing them here, but you can't prove that no more than 5 exist. Only a demon or a witch can prove something like that, you know. Stop it already! Stop it already! Oh, stop, Beatrice. Show yourself right now and tell Auntie Rosa and Red that there are only 5 master keys. Please, I beg you, this can only be proved by devils. A witch like you could prove it. Please, Beato, show yourself here and tell Auntie Rosa that those are all 5 of the master keys and that there's no need to suspect anyone anymore. There are only 5 master keys. There are only 5 master keys. Whatever could be wrong. It doesn't reach Rosa's ears no matter how often I say it. It seems there must still be someone who denies that I exist. Isn't that right? Ushiromi Battler. I accept it. I accept it. You exist. You exist. You definitely exist. So I beg you, stop this already. Stop it already. Stop it already. Yeah.
言葉だけでは
Your words alone will not reach me. Show it with your actions. Swear from your heart that you will become my furniture. When you do it, take off your clothes, be naked, and put both your hands flat and crawl on the
そして着
ground.
衣は
Clothing is proof of one's humanity. From now on, you will become furniture, so you will lose that thing, right? It's only natural.
そしてひざ
Then
まずき
kneel, make your tongue crawl on my
で
shoes.
きるか
Can you do it?
できる
You
ん
can
だ
do it,
よ
right?
そうした
Then
ら
I'll
現れてや
appear.
るよ
Sure, I'll say it in red. Sure. I'll tell Rosa that there are only 5 master keys. Oh, but I understand. There's no way you could throw away your lordly pride. But that's all right. That's more than enough. You're starting to waver a bit, aren't you? For just an instant, you thought maybe it would be all right to lick my shoes, didn't you? And you immediately denied that and felt ashamed, right? Just looking at that expression makes me feel just wonderful.
That face of yours is so pathetic. Go look in the mirror. See how low you are there, naked and licking my shoes. Can you see it? Ushiromia Batora!
Well, his idea is Kill La Kill reference. This game is actually older than Kill La Kill. I think.
信じられない。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that checks out. Even the anime came out in 2010. I don't know when this version of the game came out, though. Unbelievable.
それが
Are you
真
saying
相だというのかい。
that's the truth?
Yes. We described everything as we saw it.
George folded his arms and started humming again, and the kitchen was once again absorbed by a long silence.
ジョージ様が
George-sama, I understand well why you aren't able to believe it so
お願
suddenly.
いしろ。
After all, even though I'm sure I saw it with my own eyes, I still don't know what it was I saw.
私は確
I'm
かに
sure I
見た。
saw
そ
it,
して
and I'm sure I even got into a scuffle with it. And yet, I almost feel like it was all an illusion.
なるほどね。
I
あ
see.
のローザおばさん
So
に
that's why you
詳
couldn't
しく
go into
話
the
せなかった
details in front of Auntie
今
Rosa.
の話を本当に
If you had
したら
actually told her what you just told me, then it would have created even bigger problems. Yes, I now understand that Genji-san handled it all in a remarkably composed fashion.
If only I had the power to explain it.
George had not actually seen it, so even when pressed to believe, he just couldn't imagine it. It was only natural, because even the people who had actually seen it had ended up questioning themselves as to what it was.
話を少し巻き戻すよ。
Let me back up a bit.
シャノンは
Shannon, you said that when you thought Kanon-kun was an imposter, you went to pick up some spider webs,
どう
right?
してそんなことを
Why did you do that?
そうだ。
That's
そ
right.
れは
I
私も
was
思って
thinking
いま
about
した
that as
ど
well.
うして
Why
カノンさんだ
spider
ったんです
webs?
I heard it once from Kumasawa-san. A long time ago, evil spirits lived in Rokenjima, and they, feared spider webs. And they say there's a legend that people treasured spider webs as wards against magic. So I, just went with it. I think I was also a bit confused.
Interesting story. Kumasawa was very knowledgeable about those kinds of tales.
雲は液中ですから
Spirits are
ね
useful after
確か
all.
に
Certainly, the existence of such a creed isn't strange at all.
I'm sure that Tori Shrine was entrapping the power of those evil spirits. And since the spirit mirror was broken, that power revived. I have no doubt that it became the power to make Beatrice-sama revive. If I, while I was in that weak-hearted state, hadn't done such an outrageous thing.
シャノン
Shannon,
その話は
you don't have to
も
worry
うしな
about
くて
that
も大丈夫
anymore.
僕は
I don't blame you for that. Since long ago, Shannon had often hinted at certain occult aspect regarding how she had met George. While he did lend an ear to her tales, George had always thought that this was typical of a girl, associating love with fate, chance, and miracles. Oh, women, you know, always making up shit about bullshit. Yeah, whatever, love. George had thought that breaking the spirit mirror offered to the Tory Shrine was going a little too far, but he had forgiven her, laughing it off as just a little prank she had done because she had seriously desired a relationship with him. Just breaking a mirror in some musty shrine wouldn't change the fate of our meeting, and that would never cause any curse. I remembered cheering her up, saying it was only a musty mirror covered in dust.
ベアトリーチェ様という
After I started working on this island, many of my co-workers told me of the existence of a spirit called Beatrice-sama.
最初は
In the beginning, I thought it was ridiculous, but since it appeared too indiscreet to comment on that, outwardly I conducted myself as if I also believed it. But it's astonishing, she really...
Existed. Beatrice-sama was in this mansion all along. But Beatrice-sama had lost her powers and could not appear before us. She did exist all along. It's just that we couldn't see her.
源氏さんの意見を
I'd like to hear
聞きたいです
Genji-san's opinion.
I do not have any opinion. All that I would like to say is that when it happened, there were 5 of us here, and I thought that Kanon had returned through the back door. Then we carried him to the servant room. Something happened and Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa passed on. That is all. We have already explained everything we saw. I understand that it would be very unreasonable to try to force you to believe it when you did not see it for yourself.
How could he believe it? I thought that it was undoubtedly Kanon-san. But when that thing got up from the bed, and that's right, started to grope around that wound in its chest like this, I felt that it wasn't Kanon-san, but some different being. You probably can't understand, George-sama. The terror of that moment when a person you thought you knew well exposes that he is in fact someone else. I can't explain. I can't explain it at all. I understand. I can tell just how dreadful a thing must have happened to you, caused you such a shock. Thank you very much, George-sama. And they all went silent again. No matter how many times she was consoled, Shannon kept on crying, weeping that listening to the witch's sweet whispers and breaking the spirit mirror on that day had been where all this had gone wrong. The witch that whispered to you loses her powers if that mirror exists?
I think she explained it to me a little, but I don't really remember. I think she said something about how she couldn't release her power if that mirror existed.
What happened to this mirror that you broke?
I don't remember. I suppose since I left it broken, it would have just been lying there the way I left it.
So when, as they say, the reef was struck by lightning and disappeared, it would have gone to the bottom of the ocean. Well, I'll bet picking it up and taping it together wouldn't have made it effective again anyway.
Truly, what have I done?
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. He didn't know whether Shannon breaking the mirror had really been what had started everything off. The servants didn't go so far as to blame Shannon, but it seemed that they believed that it had been the trigger. But even now, there was no way George could believe that much. Even if he was told a story about witches and evil spirits, it just sounded fake to him. Even so, he listened seriously to Shannon's story, trying to find a hint that might relieve at least a little of the pain in her heart. Come to think of it, I think it is different from the one in that torii. But I have heard that Madame keeps a spirit mirror as a charm. Oh? Aunt Natsuhi does? Yes. I believe she received it as one of the mementos of her grandfather or something, and that it held a very strong magic-repelling power, a historically rich spirit mirror or something?
I have also heard the same story.
Something about the mirror having the power to reflect that which is not good and send it back.
If we had that spirit mirror, could we resist the witch Beatrice?
Huh?
When George proposed this, the servants looked up. The shrine and the torii where it was enshrined are gone now, but the important thing is that there is still another spirit mirror. I've heard that Aunt Natsuhi's family is descended from Shinto priests. Maybe that isn't just a simple mirror. I believe I have heard Madame say that she keeps it safe in a treasure box. It might not be very large.
I don't think its size is a problem. Even the mirror I broke looked small and insignificant at a glance.
If our opponent is occult, then we too must resist by using occult measures. If we just sit around here, nothing will be resolved. It's worth trying, if only for some peace of mind. Of course, this didn't mean that George had accepted the witch. However, he thought it would be necessary to have some kind of purification ceremony to heal the wounds in Shannon's heart. So this story about Natsuhi's spirit mirror was just what the doctor ordered. Let's go. I won't suggest going to finish off the witch or something so outrageous. However, I think it would be nice if we had something that repels magic to protect us from the witch. Maria-chan told me about this earlier, but the door to Grandfather's room is supposed to be able to repel magic, right? I suspected of Grandfather. He had sufficient defense against the occult as well. Let's go. To Aunt Natsuhi's room. But I think Madam's room is locked. We returned the master keys to Rosa-sama, and even the servant room, which contains the key box, has been locked up. In that case, Aunt Natsuki should have been walking around with that key, and Aunt Natsuki's body should still be in the chapel. It would be bad to disturb it ourselves before the police come, but we can fully explain that. However, the entrance to the chapel is also locked. Goda-san, are you not strong enough to break a single glass window? You could smash it with a rock from around there.
Would it be okay to break the window of that important chapel?
When grandfather gets mad at us, I'll take responsibility. From the beginning, I was planning on fighting with the whole Ushiromiya family today, so that they would permit my engagement with you. So I am already prepared. Let's break the glass. Then let's borrow the key from Aunt Natsuki's body. It seemed that George's claim that he would take responsibility had given the servants a great amount of courage. Shannon and Goda glanced at each other and then looked at George's face again. Grandfather knows everything about the occult. I'm sure he'll understand if it's about the power of Aunt Natsuki's spirit mirror. Don't worry, he won't get mad at you.
I wonder if Madame's mirror can really seal Beatrice-sama once again.
I don't know, but I think it's worth trying. Let's go. I've got a bad feeling about the likelihood of this working out for them. It's getting darker and darker outside. Let's hurry. Shannon, get a flashlight. Goda-san, find something that looks like it can break the glass. Genji-san, sorry, but could you get us some umbrellas? Hi. The servants, who had been rejected by Rosa, started to move once again, having gained a new master. George, who was normally calm and gentle, was now exuding a commanding presence. King shit. Shannon checked the emergency flashlight. Just in case, she changed the batteries. Goda was examining several heavy-looking cooking tools. Normally, a self-respecting chef like himself wouldn't want to use them for anything other than their intended purpose, but now he was frantic to fulfill the orders of the one he accepted as master. After some deliberation, he took a large, weighty frying pan. Nah, dog, get one of them KitchenAids. Those shits is heavy as fuck. Genji removed several umbrellas from the umbrella stand set in the corner near the back room of the kitchen. He took 3 of them. Genji-san?
I cannot go with you. It would be embarrassing for me as the head servant of the Ushiromiya family if we were all absent when an order was to be given.
What in the world, Genji-san? Even you should understand how dangerous it would be to be alone in this mansion now.
I can't go. I must stay here so the master can call me at any time.
Genji-sama.
Go and serve George-sama. Don't make any blunders. Have we accounted for where Granddad is at all for like a long ass time?
Goda, I'm counting on you to be an example.
I feel like that man is dead. Yes, leave it to me.
I will surely fulfill my duty.
Is this really alright, Genji-san?
Yes, I am already at this age.
All the days of my life. All the days of my life ever since I've been born. Never heard a man speak like this man before. Watch me now. That's Goliath by the Mars Volta. Anyways.
All the days of my life until now have been in repayment for the master's favor.
Whatever happens to a senile old man like myself will be decided by the roulette. I think I would like to sit there and see what the result will be with my own eyes. As Genji said that, he sat down, as though saying that he didn't intend to discuss this anymore. His gaze fell to the chessboard that he had played on with Nanjo. When George saw this, he decided to leave Genji there. Let's go, everyone. It looks like the wind is a little softer right now. George took an umbrella and dashed out into the hallway, and Shannon and Goda chased after him, each holding a tool. They got the tool, man. I feel like tool is maybe not a Jamaican slang, and I went with man because I was trying to create like a UK rapper voice in my head, but then I realized they say ting, not tool. Where do they say tool? Where does the slang tool for gun actually come from? I do not know. After they flew out of the room, Genji quietly extended his hand to the side of the chessboard. He softly pulled something that was there towards himself and hid it by covering it with his palm. Genji killed his breathing even more than before. As he did, something flashed gold.
Oh shit, the butterflies are here.
From inside an ice pail set on the counter, a small gold butterfly appeared softly and silently. It was almost as though it had watched George and the rest leave and was trying to secretly follow them. Oh shit. It happened in an instant. The gold butterfly, elegantly flapping its wings, was pinned against the wall by the knife Genji had thrown. Oh shit. Just like a butterfly in a bug collection. Genji fucking straight ninja attacked the... My favorite thing about the servants is that they are like low-key high-powered ninjas. I don't know like exactly how that is yet, but after the gold butterfly beat its wings several times, looking like it was in pain, it accepted the fact that it couldn't break free, became fine gold powder and smoke, and disappeared as though dissolving into water. You ain't bugging me. Genji's gaze was still lowered at the chessboard as though nothing had happened. Maybe he would think up a brilliant move very soon. But no matter what move he made, his opponent would not be able to respond for all eternity. Even though he knew that Genji searched for a brilliant move, it must have been the perfect way to kill time during the short period before some fate would be given to him. He's not in a Rika situation, is he? Where he like knows that he's in a time loop or some shit? Because that would totally... He would be the guy. Like in Higurashi, like Rika was just kind of in the background going, Meepa! For like a whole season. And then you find out that like, oh, she knows exactly what's going on. She's just like traumatized and to the point of desensitization to it. Definitely seems like Genji knows a little more than everybody else does. He didn't know what result the roulette would bring about. But that decision would be made very soon. No one could interfere with the tumbling roulette ball. The door to the parlor was not only the door to the parlor was not only locked, but blocked with a barricade made of sofas and the like. So Auntie Rosa seemed to suspect that if a suspicious person appeared, it would be by breaking the window. Sitting on a one-person sofa, her back to the door, she continued to hold on to her gun. Go get your gun, and let's find out what it does. Shoot, 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 shoot. I didn't know what was what anymore, and so my body and mind worn out, I was just playing with Maria however she wanted. In Maria's words, Beatrice was testing us to see whether we could solve the epitaph of the gold, so we had to challenge this riddle. In the beginning, I had been a little interested, and had even tried to solve it, but I didn't have a clue what those weird paragraphs even meant in the first place. I didn't doubt that there was some riddle hidden there, but I couldn't imagine that I would solve it by chance. In the middle part of the epitaph, there were lines saying to sojourn to the Golden Land over the course of the 1st to the 10th twilight. On the 1st twilight, sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. On the 2nd twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. It was obvious that this hinted at the first 6 murders that had already occurred in the chapel and Jessica and Kanonkun's murders. If this was being followed, we would have to be prepared for yet 5 more people to be killed. On the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. The bodies of Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa Bachan hadn't been found. However, if we reasonably assumed that they were the sacrifices of the 4th and 5th twilights, they would surely be found in a pitiful state with their head and chest gouged. In which case, could we expect that 3 more would be gouged in the stomach, knee, and leg and be killed? Who would that be? I looked around the room, noticing that there were 3 people here, but how should I say it, my emotions seemed paralyzed. Strangely, I didn't find it terrifying. Maria noticed me with my upper body entrusted to the sofa, gazing lazily up at the ceiling. Apparently, she felt I was slacking off in my riddle solving. She got mad at me and told me I wasn't being serious enough. Hey, Maria.
Huh?
What was it again that Beatrice said she would do if we solved this? I was sure that the witch had written in her letter that she would give up on collecting the interest or something abstract like that. I was optimistically taking that to mean that she would give up on killing the whole family, but was it really written with that meaning? I didn't really feel that solving this riddle would actually save us. I thought that even if we did solve it, that would be doing just what the culprit wanted us to, and it would all be wasted effort.
No, that's not true. If you solve the epitaph, Beato's ritual will be over, so there won't be any need for more people to die.
Really? Isn't that rule just something she made up? If we solve this riddle, we'll probably know the location of Grandfather's hidden gold. She'll surely go after that and...
Well,
How can you be so sure?
the gold was Beato's from the start. She won't go after something that's hers.
Then why is Beato giving us all these big hints? Not just that, why did she even set up this game-like thing?
Magic needs risk.
Oh shit, it's all fucking Nen. It's all been Nen this whole goddamn time. Risk? I don't really get what you mean.
For example, in a marathon, do you think that a medal that anyone could get by running the whole thing is worth the same as the medal given only to the person who gets first?
No, I don't. What are you trying to say? That in the end she's just playing around? Purposefully giving us a chance?
No! That's what magic is! No matter how great the magic, there are always risks and weak points. There has to be.
I don't get it when you call it magic, but if I think about it as a gamble, I can understand it a little. If you aren't prepared to lose big, you can't win big. And the slimmer the chances of winning, the bigger the payoff.
That's it, exactly. That's why Beata properly explained the risk of the ritual to everyone. That's why if this riddle is solved, the ritual will be interrupted as promised. After all, if she breaks her promises, then there wouldn't be any risk.
If we solve this, will she really keep her promise?
Why are flowers beautiful even though they wither? Why is it that an artificial flower isn't beautiful, even if it's so elaborate that you can't tell the difference by looking? Humans can bring about miracles by gambling their death. If there were an undying human, that person would have no way of bringing about a miracle.
And she just made the ultimate anti-AI argument. There you go. Take it from Maria. She understands why AI art sucks better than anybody else.
It's the same for us, for life, for witches, and for rituals. If we don't bear a risk, we can't achieve anything.
What do we do if we solve the riddle? Do we press our answer buzzers and put a hand in the air, tell the witch our answer, and see what she says?
Ooh, I don't know about that. But if we solve it, the ritual will surely end automatically.
You sure know a lot, Maria. Did you learn all of that from Beatrice? So, if you don't bear a risk, nothing can be gained. That is doubtlessly the way of the world, but it was in conflict with the chessboard theory style of thinking that I liked. It conflicted my worldview, so I didn't want to accept it. A move in chess is always a search for the best play that minimizes the risk and promises an advantageous turn of events. You don't trust your plays to chance like in gambling. That's right, there's no room for gambling in an intellectual game. And yet this person called Beatrice was carrying out such an outrageous crime, or maybe a ritual, while purposefully imposing conditions for her own loss and announcing them to us. In chess, you always play the best move, so by standing in your opponent's position, you can predict their next move. However, you couldn't say for sure that Beatrice's moves were always the best moves. I thought she was probably making us focus on the epitaph as a smokescreen to mislead us about something, but Maria said that of all things was impossible. She said that this was a genuine risk that the witch had taken, and therefore proof that this was a formal magical ritual. I can't understand this witch called Beatrice. She must be committing this chain of murders with some goal in mind, so why would she deliberately expose the conditions for her own defeat? No matter how I flip over the chessboard and think from my opponent's perspective, I can't understand why she would give up if this riddle was solved. Because she'll get whatever she wants. She probably doesn't know the answer to the riddle completely or something. I don't know. It's almost as though, isn't it almost as though Beatrice doesn't care whether she wins or loses? It's natural that chessboard reasoning wouldn't work if you played chess against an opponent like this. I don't understand. What is Beatrice after that's making her commit this crime? If she just wants to massacre us all, she could just do it secretly without this whole crazy setup. There was no need for that scrupulous advance notice, dramatic suggestions of locked rooms, or anything. It's all over-dramatized. I don't get the point at all. As long as I continue to think of Beatrice as a greedy human culprit, will I be unable to understand anything? If I don't accept her as a witch, will I be unable to even set the pieces on the chessboard at all? If she really is a witch and everything Maria has said is true, then there's only one thing we should have been doing. We shouldn't have bothered with any of the reasoning or the discord or the searching for the culprit. We should have all gathered in the dining hall and pooled our knowledge to solve the riddle. How is that not obviously the answer no matter what? If we had pooled the knowledge of that many people, maybe we would have been able to at least grasp a thread of the answer. We greedy humans desiring to gain something more than one another never pooled our knowledge and were being offered up as sacrifices one by one. In the end, we were humans getting what we deserved? We thought we were thinking, but we were actually thinking only of our greedy selves. In the end, chessboard theory is a technique of thinking where you project yourself onto your opponent. So greedy people look inside their opponents and see their greedy selves. I looked vaguely at Auntie Rosa. She was probably tired from being under all this tension the whole time. She wasn't sleeping, but she was continually staring vaguely at some point off in the space. Auntie Rosa had proclaimed that she couldn't trust anyone who had not been killed. Auntie Rosa's chessboard thinking saw herself inside her opponent. Exactly. Projection. In other words, Auntie Rosa is projecting hard. Might be an isolated woman, unable to trust anyone and unable to let her guard down. A Karen. Long ago, I think I heard a bit about it from my dad. Auntie Rosa had originally been a very obedient child, but because her age was so far separated from her other siblings, and because her confrontational siblings had often made conflicting demands of her, she had been going through psychological hardship ever since she was young. Apparently, when she had taken the side of one sibling, often another gave her a hard time for it. Certainly, Auntie Rosa had said many things today that could be taken as abusive language, but those were words that had been engraved into her vocabulary because they had been showered upon her as well. The many abusive words that she had spoken were also the same abuse that Auntie Rosa had been showered with in the past. Now that I think about it, I have the feeling that her style of speech today had occasional traces of Uncle Kraus and Auntie Ava in it. I just assumed the similarity came from being siblings, but maybe that wasn't the case. For the first time, I was able to sympathize from my heart with Auntie Rosa, who I had come to think of as being only gentle. Gentle in what way? Then what about Maria? Maria had been claiming something for a while. If we could solve the riddle that the witch had presented to us, the ritual would be halted and we would definitely be saved. And I think she also said that Beatrice would never break a promise she made. So that describes Maria herself. She's the one with the most innocent heart, who would never break a promise. So she believed that Beatrice wouldn't break a promise either. She could believe that. But wasn't that just an image of Beatrice that Maria imagined? There's no proof that the real Beatrice definitely keeps her promises, right?
I keep my promises. If you solve the riddle of the epitaph, you shall be able to reach the Golden Land. When that happens, the ritual will end. No more people will die.
So you're saying a complete monster like you follows the rules?
I won't deny that I am a brutal and unjust and a monster. However, I am a witch. I use magic. In order to use magic, there are some rules that must be followed. We got these rules to follow.
It is
precisely because I am a witch that I cannot neglect those. You should believe at least that much.
Even after pulling all this shit, you're still telling me to trust at least the rules?
I do play tricks. Of course, I also deceive people. That's no different from humans. But not once have I discarded something. But not once have I disregarded something that I have said as a promise. What about you humans? Do you always keep your promises?
Given that we have catchphrases like keep your promises, it's doubtful that we always follow them as we should.
From my perspective, humans are much more selfish monsters. There's nothing as doubtful as a human's promise. Even I sometimes make contracts with humans, but I doubt you can even imagine how strict an agreement must be, made just to grant a single foolish wish. If there's even a small loophole, they'll immediately say something like, increase the number of wishes to 100, or try transforming into a tiny speck.
Dad often tells me something. He said that there's nothing as scary as contracts. He said it's only natural that people who agree without reading them thoroughly will be chewed to the bone. He made a killing through vice.
Realize this. People do not know of fraud from birth. They suffer it somewhere, and so it is learned.
I should have screen capped that one too.
Yes, the sins of the human world which must be forced on one another. Now, who was the witch I heard that from? Oh well, I'm not as heartless as you think, you see.
Liar. All these people, and it's not even the first time. And you did it in such a horrible way, too. How could you not be heartless? You say you keep your promises? Don't say stuff like that. I won't accept you. Never. I believe that not giving that up is the only way I can resist you. Brother, you were literally begging, like...
I see. So you're saying that this eternal torment will be the same for me? Maybe so. 1,000 years is a long time. Maybe a witch's true strength is decided not by their magical power, but by their endurance.
That's how I've been living.
Yes, it explains how terrifying Lady Byrne is.
Ooh. How old is she? Calling Lady Byrne an old bitch. Damn you, babbling on and on about incomprehensible stuff. Hurry up and continue that eternal torment or whatever. I'm prepared to stick around for 1,000 years or even 10,000. Yeah, you say that now.
Good, good. It looks like you've regained some of your will to fight. It would be boring otherwise. Come now, don't you often see it in multiplayer games? You enter as a new challenger, but the opponent is so weak that it's a bit of an anticlimax. So you lose on purpose to extend the game until the last round, then get serious and beat them to a pulp, right?
I don't get the analogy. Yeah, he doesn't. There aren't. He's from the 80s, Beato, not the future.
It's the same as wine. If you don't let it age well, it won't sparkle. You are a wine that can withstand that process. I'll age you carefully. I'll raise you to be the best alcohol to color my elegant time. So don't let this much break you. Keep on denying me. After all, as long as you don't accept me, I'm nothing more than a fleeting illusion.
No matter how many times I see it, it's awful. I sympathize with all my heart. Shannon-san, please get the key. Even though she has passed away, Madame is a lady. I cannot touch her. So you have to do it.
Yes.
Shannon nodded sharply, her expression filled with a sense of duty. George, Goda, and Shannon had broken a suitable window and were inside the chapel. Since they hadn't really wanted to break one, they had searched for another way just in case. But in the end, that only proved once again that there was nowhere that anyone could slip in through, and emphasized further how inscrutable was the chapel's locked room. Inside the chapel, time had stopped since they had left it earlier. Of course, even George could not approach that horrible Halloween party again. It was only natural, because it made him remember again the sadness of losing both his parents at once. and Goda, thinking of the possibility that their bodies might have changed in some horrible way now that half a day had passed, didn't want to let George approach. Shannon followed Goda's instructions and approached the party table. Normally, Shannon might have resented having another dirty job forced on her, but now she could truly understand Goda's mental state. Despite Goda's prodigious skill, he had gotten into trouble, lost his job, and been left out in the streets, and then Natsuhi had given him a new life. Even though it had just been a casual employment for Natsuhi, Goda must have felt that it was a turning point in his fate. Those around Goda could see that he felt a special kind of loyalty to Natsuhi. I ship it. So he probably didn't want to lose that feeling, even though she was dead. Now that half a day had passed, the bodies of Natsuhi and the rest had changed completely. Small bugs that had sniffed out the smell of death had started to gather. It really wasn't something you could look at directly.
Madam, excuse me.
Because of her long experience as a servant, Shannon had an idea of which pocket Natsuhi had kept the key to her room in. Probably in this pocket. Her guess didn't fail her. Just by touching the outside of the pocket, she was immediately able to feel it.
It's here. The key to Madam's room.
Shannon held the key up high, showing the others that it had been found. As George and Goda watched her, their eyes opened wide. That wasn't the expression Shannon was expecting, so it startled her. Oh, she about to get eaten by a Gru. Oh. Because Shannon hadn't noticed. George and Goda, watching from afar, had been able to notice it first. Because when Shannon had held the key up high, a blizzard of gold leaf had billowed up from behind the table. They were countless gold butterflies. Because it was the first time George had seen them, to him, they might have looked fantastical. But Goda already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies, far from being beautiful, held sway over something disastrous. And that gold swelled, trying to suck Shannon in. Shannon-san, run!
Huh? Ah!
Shannon also realized that she was about to be swallowed up by gold butterflies. She ran unsteadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, the gold butterflies danced around Shannon in unison. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up. Shannon! Damn it, what is this? Are these the gold butterflies you guys are talking about? Outside, quickly! You bastards! Damn it! George and Goda rushed up to Shannon, driving off the group of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they needed good footing to get out of the window, which was surrounded with shards of broken glass. When they had entered, there had only been enough time to prepare for that, but now there was none. Let's go through the door. Wrong voice. There's no time for footing.
It won't open. It's stuck.
Give it to me. Damn this ancient piece of crap. George-sama, quickly. Damn it, you want a piece of me? Oh! Goda took off his jacket, swinging it around and scattering the group of butterflies, but he was vastly outnumbered. I hope they get eaten by butterflies. It was doubtful that it even brought them a short amount of time. George struggled with the virtually broken handle. Its age showed and it didn't turn well. Brute force alone wouldn't do it. It needs the right angle or some trick. George-sama! Damn it! You monsters! Just then Goda saw it. He was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met. On top of the party table, no, floating above it, backed by a stained glass window, laughing, the figure of the witch. He saw the figure of the witch laughing in the center of the golden whirlwind, allowing the gold butterflies to attend to her whims. Beatrice. It should have been Goda's first meeting with her, but he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly the witch of the portrait herself.
It is almost time for dinner, is it not? I am already the host of this mansion, so I must give you a warm reception with a wonderful dinner. And how perfectly ideal, there are 3 of you. My, how truly convenient.
It opened!
Koda-san, quickly! Beatrice-sama!
Huh?
止めてもよ
Are
い
you
の
sure you
か
want to just stand there?
ここが
If
そな
you
たらの
think this
墓場
place
に
is
ふさわ
suitable
し
for
い
your
というなら
cemetery, then very well.
かつての
I'll
主の
praise your
傍ら
spirit
に
for wanting to
て
stay
死後
by
も
your
使
former
えないという
master's
その
side,
心意気
serving
は
him
た
even
だ
after
よ
death.
The golden whirlwind enshrouded the witch's burst. It was like an evil hand had literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The group of gold butterflies attacked with a whoosh sound. Hurry! We can't stand here! George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to themselves. Standing here now would be the same as a frog being stared down by a snake. They had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of the new brutal and frightening order that had enveloped Rokenjima. There was no time to take out their umbrellas. The three of them dashed out into the pouring rain. They never realized because they didn't turn around, but the gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well, and this hampered their ability to chase after the three. The three people ran from their golden pursuers and flew into the mansion.
How nice, how nice. If it wasn't like this, it wouldn't be interesting.
The song is a jam. It's giving Ali Project anime OP. They unlocked the door and flew into the room. A bit of the scent from Natsu's favorite gentle incense remained in the room. However, there was no time to let that calm them now. Where is it? You said it was in a treasure box, right? It's just something I heard. I never knew where it is, actually.
I think it's probably in her dresser or in the corner by the bed.
Shannon claimed that because of her woman's sense. What? Okay. Why does George have to look at everything through such a misogynistic lens when it comes to her? Like, everything with her is, well, she's a woman, so that's why. Like, anyway. But in the corner by the bed, there was only an incense burner, a half-read novel, and a pair of glasses. But the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and it would be understandable if she had kept some of her valuables there. Aunt Natsuhi, I'm sorry. He began to violently open each of the drawers. He had to hurry. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling that the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He pulled out the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box for makeup looked like a treasure box, and the amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy.
Maybe it's this box? It's locked and I can't open it.
At a glance, it looked slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled as though various small objects were inside. But it was locked and wouldn't open.
Normally you'd hide the key somewhere nearby, but maybe some people always take it with them. I don't know.
There's no choice. Let's break it. But we can't do it recklessly, right? We might break the mirror inside. Isn't there some tool we could pry it open with? Damn it. Goda looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some tool that they could use. This feels like a waste of time. Like they're so desperate that they're not considering that maybe it's not there also. And he noticed the door, which had been left open ever since they had entered. He approached the door to close it, and noticed the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness in the hall. No, the phrase shadows of people wasn't right, because that referred to human shadows. You can't call the shadows of beings that aren't human shadows of people. George-sama! Hurry! Goda's voice trailed off. It was the shock from seeing a procession of those not of this world. He was a servant, so he knew all of the servants that worked for the Ushiromiya family, but he didn't know about these. However, they were definitely servants. They weren't servants working for Ushiromiya Kinzo or Ushiromiya Kraus. Oh shit. It's them boys! They were new servants who worked for the new master of the mansion, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Alright, but tell me this isn't like the dream gangbang though, right? And who had goats' heads and bright red boiled eyes of lava. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly directed 6 of the new servants, He saw her pierce the darkness as she came. Of course, she was clad in the gold butterflies that were her symbol. Goda hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, the instant he locked it, it returned to normal, just as though it had been knocked back by a spring or something. Y'all are fucked. It almost gave the illusion that some prankster on the other side of the door was opening it every time he closed it. Distance-wise, they shouldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. Then who? How? It felt just like playing with a broken toy. Click boing, click boing. It won't close. It opens even if I close it. What's going on? Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Did you think a lock would stop me? Did you think the door to that room would inhibit the room's new master? It was like the witch could see Goda's frantic effort through the door. Even as he struggled, their footsteps continued to approach. And when not just footsteps, but their breath too could be heard, Goda gave up on the lock and rammed the door with his shoulder, making the lock his own large body. George-sama, quickly, quickly, quickly!
George-sama, what about this?
A letter opener! That's better, let me have it. The fountain pen isn't working. Oh, Jesus Christ. George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. It looks like it's working. Quickly, quickly! The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Goda screamed. It wasn't a war cry for this test of strength. He was terrified. He was simply terrified that except for a single wooden door, he would be touching something not of this world. But he was still lucky. He wasn't touching them directly, because they were on the other side of the door. Yeah, like one of those swords isn't gonna go right through that fucking thing. So it was natural that if he did touch them directly, Goda's cry would turn from something brave into a shameful and yet very real scream that would make glass shatter. Uh-oh. Goda couldn't believe what was right before his eyes. Going through the door, an arm, almost as though it was sticking through the surface of water, slipped through as though it was perfectly natural and stroked the back of Goda's hand as he tried desperately to hold the door closed. It traced slowly up his arm to his chest and then his chin. By now, Goda's scream was not even vocalized. He could hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door. It wasn't coming from the witch, but judging by the sound of the voice, it was a young woman. But there was no difference in the fact that it was a voice from one not of this world. I love her so much.
How cute! Hey, you see it, right? Your light flashing before your eyes. Tell me when it's over. Thanks. Over already, huh?
Poor guy did nothing but his job, yeah. That obscene arm burst apart, and they heard the sound of something jumping around the room at an incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small, like steel or maybe a beetle. When it buried itself right in the center of Goda's chest and stopped, for the first time they realized that its true form was something like a stake with a strange design on it. Goda's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly, even though no one was pushing it, and the new masters of this room were welcomed in. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted them. The goat attendants entered one after another, 6 of them. I want like the 6. I want that, you know, the picture where it's the little blonde girl with the 5 black guys behind her. I want that, but it's the 6 goats and like Beatrice sitting on the couch. Then that witch entered and the gold butterflies entered. The room was wrapped in a blizzard of gold leaf which fell and piled up, turning it into a world of gold. Shannon, the roulette has chosen you and George. Thank me for your day of release.
I assume you have no regrets. None at all, right? Receiving an engagement ring from the man you fell for and then being killed before spending a night together, that isn't a regret at all, right? You wanted him to teach you the happiness of being a woman, didn't you? Oh, no, Shannon, it's hanging. Your regret from your mouth. I can see it dribbling from your mouth, Shannon.
Crack. It was the sound of the lid to the treasure box breaking and opening. When George turned it over, out fell accessories, charms, various small objects that Nazi had treasured when she was a girl. Mixed in with those was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and checked it immediately. This was it. I found it. This is it.
One move short. Die.
Damn it! All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was painfully slow, trying to remove the contents of the pouch. You slow motherfucker, George. Pick up the pay. What the Just then, it seemed like for just an instant, a bright red flash lit up the room. That red flash seemed to wipe out the gold butterflies that were raging around the room, within a circle drawn with Shannon at the center. Therefore, it was a very divine scene, almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in the ceiling of this world of gold. George, who was curled in a ball trying to protect himself from the group of butterflies, didn't have a clue what had occurred. Oh shit! She's doing a real anime! She's really pulling an anime! This fucking pose. Then he noticed that Shannon was blocking the way to him, shielding him. Okay, that's the pose. This is fucking adorable. With a serious face that she had never showed him before as she glared at the witch and the rest.
I'd forgotten. You were also Kinzo's excellent furniture, and you've matured much more than Kanon. How dare you do that to Kanon-kun? Not the fact that you killed him. How dare you erase his remains and even try to disgrace his honor? Come now, Shannon. Is that what's making you mad? If you're lonely because you can't meet Kanon, just ask me. I'll bring you together anytime.
When the witch snapped her fingers, one of the 6 goat attendants glittered gold and changed into Kanon. It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. It was definitely Kanon's face. However, in those eyes there was none of that sincere glint of Kanon's. There were only the clouded eyes of furniture that did nothing but obey the orders of the witch. George couldn't understand the scene before his eyes, and he finally understood why Goda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they had seen in the servant's room.
Is it fun?
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's always fun to reunite two that have been torn apart by death. Because I get to enjoy it thrice. Once tearing the two apart by death, once reuniting them, and once tearing them apart again. So, Kanon, play with your sister. If she knocks you about, show her a face with as much anguish as you can imagine.
She said manage, not imagine, but, you know, whatever. From the imposter Kanon's arm, a strangely shining trail extended. It planned to tear Shannon apart with that. Shannon, who still hadn't prepared her heart, apart with a single stroke.
I won't forgive you for dishonoring the dead not once, but twice. I won't forgive you.
Stop babbling. Get killed by your brother, Shannon. I'm sure you'll be able to have a good dream.
Oh. She did exactly as commanded, it looked like. As the imposter Kanon drew several purple trails, he definitely had attacked Shannon. But when he flew at Shannon, it felt like some kind of invisible wall had been set up in front of her. That's what I thought was happening. A bright red ripple trail was left on the wall, and it repelled the imposter. No, it didn't repel him, it smashed him. It knocked him back, turning him into golden dust, into pieces, scattering him. Yeah, you fucked. The figure of the foolish furniture who had mocked Kanon's form and even disgraced his honor after his death broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces until they were no longer butterflies but a spray of gold and disappeared. Shannon!
George-san, please don't move from there. I don't want to shift the central axis.
This is a surprise. Even though you make a face like you wouldn't hurt a fly, you can display such power. I see. So the spirit mirror is lending you power. But you don't have the preparations or the time to draw out the true power of that spirit mirror. I won't give you either one.
The spirit mirror George gripped was letting out a divine radiance and displaying its strength not to submit to wicked power. But that radiance was no match for the witch's sinister nature.
This is why furniture is frightening. That feeling like unexpectedly hitting the corner of a cabinet with your little toe.
Ooh, this is why furniture is frightening. Yes, exactly. That is a great point.
You furniture.
I am not furniture, and I think you are very pitiful right now.
What? Oh. I wonder, what did this furniture, who hasn't lived even 100 years, just say to a witch of 1,000?
You are a very pitiful person. Of course there will be lingering regrets between two people who love each other, but there isn't even a scrap of the kind of regrets you're hoping for.
You dare speak, furniture? When you say that, have you forgotten the days that you wanted to be tied to George so much that you licked my shoes?
Living with love and crawling in buck is what humans do. For sneering at that and thinking you can look down on it, you are far inferior to them. Especially now, I think you are pitiful. How much does it mean for a loving couple to consummate their love? It does mean something. It definitely does. But it's completely different from what you're saying. It means something more sacred, so sacred that one such as you has no right to speak of it wickedly. So I no longer have any regrets. George-san and I have sworn our love to each other. As proof, I accept the ring.
All that just to say they fucked.
With that, our eternal vows are completed. No matter how much you torture us with your wicked magic and your malice, you cannot disgrace that for all eternity.
Huh. Don't speak as a poet like it's so neat and clean. Love is lust. It can't be talked about with only pretty words like in a shoujo manga. Men are flies and maggots that get caught in your scent and gather round you.
Holy shit. I didn't realize Beatrice was so anti-men.
Do you still not understand that at your age? You'll despair when you get even one glimpse of the blackest tar lust of that glasses man behind you. You'll be devastated, speechless, no words, no reaction, no expression, no goddamn good at all. Shannon! That's enough. Stop talking furniture, you furniture. Who you are talking like that? Love is just a fraud. How to pretty up something that's ultimately filthy as all hell.
She is sounding especially pathetic right now.
Don't people become adults when they realize that? Die, you trash! Furniture, scrap! I'll turn you into a filthy maggot, then you'll see whether that glasses guy still loves you. I'll show you the goddamn filthy reality of this love. Die, you piece of crap! Don't you tell me about love!
The invisible column of light with Shannon at the center started to have bright red ripples drawn all over it at once. The wall did its best to withstand the invisible malice that was trying to corrode it from all directions.
What is this you call resisting?
You're insignificant. You're frail, just like the pretty picture you try to paint. Just a frail pretense. You're just hiding what you don't want to see by covering it with a veil. Do you still not understand? That's why you're furniture. You furniture! See, it's chipping away. Crack, crunch, snap, snap. How thin, how shameful compared to your frail resistance. Parmigiano would take much more effort to shave.
Parmesan isn't the easiest cheese to shave. The golden windstorm that covered the room gradually shaved away the walls all this shaving of the column that protected Shannon and George. The bright red ripples frantically drew a pattern of resistance, but the wall was beginning to envelope the two, becoming instead a red wall of despair.
George-san, I'm sorry. It was impossible for me, after all.
Yes, thank you. You fought for my sake. That alone makes me happy.
I get the feeling she's about to get embodied. As the column that had once protected them was assaulted and covered with a trail of blood-curdling red ripples, it contracted and began to suck the two of them up instead. Oh, they're both getting it. Whoa, seizure. Boishka, you're fucked. And then they fucking died, yeah.
George-san, can I ask a favor?
Shannon grasped George's hand behind her, so George hugged her shoulders just as strongly. What is it?
Before the end, please let me hear you say you love me.
Sure, Sayo, I will forever.
He didn't get time to say it. Stupid little bastards. Everybody dying at the Umineko Hotel. After Genji finished taking his late meal, he went out to do the nighttime rounds inside the mansion. It'd be really funny if, like, the next sentence was like, and then his throat was slit, bitch. Haha, you thought you had to wait around. Like, he reheated the soup that Goda had started making and ate some random leftovers from the refrigerator. They were all things Goda had made himself and were, of course, delicious. He had half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they would do for dinner, but he had been yelled at by a voice telling him that they had canned food, so they were fine. The fucking canned food. And the door wasn't even open for him. So, ironically, it was the servant Genji who was able to eat the more delicious meal. But even though all of those crimes had been committed, and many people had already met a brutal end, why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do the rounds all by himself? Judging by his appearance as he carried out his normal tasks without a trace of fear, as though everything was normal, you might think that all of the horrible events that had happened today were just a dream or an illusion. Was he taking a philosophic view, or was it simply resignation? Genji must have considered it a virtue to systematically carry out his duty until the last moment, since the fate that awaited him was unavoidable. It would probably be eternally impossible to perceive the depths of his heart unless he told of it himself. Ooh. Heavy. Because he had given the master key back to Rosa, the places he could go to were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the hallways, checking to make sure that the windows were closed. So he was able to go around that route far more quickly than usual. Creepy ass door. Have we seen this door before? After the sound of a moderate knock, Auntie Rosa, who had been falling into a doze shortly before, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun at the door as she yelled. Who is it? I was napping on a sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality.
Rosa-sama.
源氏でご
It
ざい
is
ます。
Genji.
何か用なの
Do you have some business?
扉は開けなくて
We'll be
結構だ
fine without opening the
そ
door.
のままで話
Tell
して
us from there.
はい。
Yes.
それでは、
Well
このま
then,
まで
forgive me
失
for
礼させてい
speaking in
た
this
だき
fashion.
南條先生
I have
と
found the
熊沢の
bodies of
遺体を
Dr. Nanjo
見
and
つけました
Kumasawa.
What did you say?
そう
I see.
分かったわ
Alright, let's go check on
隠
them.
し体を見ない限
Until
り
I see the corpses, I won't believe anybody. Ugh.
It's alright, Tyler. If you're with me, it'll definitely be alright.
Maybe my face was shadowed with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Auntie Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backward glance at Auntie Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door.
ケンジさん。
Genji-san, where are their corpses?
中庭です。
In the
ご
courtyard.
案内
I shall guide you.
バトラ君待って
Battler-kun, wait!
念のため
Just in case, I'm going to check the doors and windows of this room before we
ちょっと
go.
待ってね
Wait a second. Auntie Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead and began to carefully check the locks on each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe she was right to be this cautious. Even though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in like the Rose Garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, it made you feel a little discomfort, as though it was telling you that you couldn't escape from the mansion even if you tried to escape to the outside. On the other hand, thanks to that, even though the violent winds could be heard, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Auntie Rosa ignored him. She probably wanted to say that the gun took two hands, so taking the umbrella would be dangerous because she wouldn't be able to fire the gun. Even without Genji-san pointing his finger, we could tell immediately. Right in the center of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san lay. Auntie Rosa entered the courtyard without even an umbrella. So Genji-san and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria had opened one like normal. Maria, is this,
Ugh. It's the 7th twilight and the 8th twilight.
I see.
確かに
Certainly, just as Genji-san and the others said, there are horrible wounds on their necks. Very sharp. Almost as though they've been sliced with a katana or something. That gaping wound on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes. By the way, Japanese story never mentioned a katana challenge failed and also impossible. But after seeing the Halloween party in the chapel, even though I thought it was horrible, it was no longer enough to make me feel sick. Instead, our gazes were directed to their legs, and Dr. Nanjo's knee, and Kumasawa-san's ankle. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or a stake with a demonic decoration. They would surely be the same as the one that had pierced Jessica's back. What is this? It's the same as Jessica-chan. Is this supposed to be some kind of occult ritual, I wonder?
わかります。
I do not know.
彼らの遺体
The last time I saw their bodies, there was nothing like
この
this.
使用に
Maybe it was done after they were carried out of the servants' room.
The one that had been stuck into Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect, but the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. So it was only when I saw the one that had fallen over that for the first time I realized that it wasn't a knife, but something like a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell that it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part, and it was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe you could describe it like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used on horseback. The grooves that had been carved in a spiral shape made it also look like a drill. However, the grip had an occult-like design of a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ritual to offer up a sacrifice.
間違いない。
There's no mistake. They're meant to be sacrifices.
On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill.
Wait, then they've left out the 4th, 5th, and 6th twilights. Don't tell me. That's right. Why is Genji-san alone? If something like this had happened, why wouldn't George Aniki, Goda-san, or Shannon-chan be here? Why was Genji-san alone?
どういうこと？
What is this?
ジョージ君たち
Where
3人
did
はど
George
こへ
Kun
行っ
and
た
the other two go?
They told me that they wanted to go to Madame Natsuhi's room to search for something and left. They have not returned yet.
なんだって
What did you say? You say they left? When was that?
2 or 3 hours ago, I believe.
You didn't think about maybe that's like a bit long?
そんな
No
なん
way.
でそんな
Why
大事
didn't
な
you
こと
say something that
やっちゃなんぜ
important? Wait, no.
なんで
Why
不
didn't
審
you
に思
think
わな
that
かっ
was
たんだよ
suspicious?
There must always be one servant awaiting orders. It was my duty to wait for orders until they returned.
Was Genji-san really this much of a robot? This is bad. This is bad. It's really bad. The fact that Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san had been killed in this way meant that 3 people had already been killed. We ran towards Aunt Natsu's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. They're just like, yeah, we know they're dead. They're definitely dead in there. Before we even saw the inside of Natsu's room, we were imprisoned by a certain resignation. On that door was bizarre graffiti. No, filth? In any case, the door wasn't in a normal state, and we were able to imagine what was inside that room without opening it. On the face of the door, how should I say it? Someone had heavily painted with their hands with the same red paint that the magic circles from before had been drawn with, and had banged on the door, scratched it, dirtied it. It was dirtied like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on it was dripping down, and even though no one said it, it made us think of blood. I feel like this happened in Natsuhi's door the first time, too.
源氏さん
Genji-san, please open it.
Auntie Rosa held her gun up high and ordered Genji-san to open it. Genji-san approached the door without being particularly troubled by that stuff on it and turned the knob. But he immediately turned around, shaking his head. It was locked. Right now, there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will, Auntie Rosa. This time, Genji-san asked Auntie Rosa to unlock the door instead of the other way around. After making a slightly disgruntled face, Auntie Rosa handed me a master key and told me to go open the door.
Battler-kun, would you open it for me with this?
そのくらいのこと
Just trusting Genji-san with something like that wouldn't... Auntie Rosa glared at me with an intense gaze. Getting into a fight here would only make the environment turn even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely the resistance of the lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. Clunk. A light resistance. While listening to Auntie Rosa as she told me to be cautious, I opened the door without being particularly cautious at all. Fuck you, Rosa. And there was the scene laid out before us, not betraying our expectations in the slightest.
How horrible.
As I thought, it was a reproduction of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights. The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers were flung open, pulled out with their contents thrown all over the floor. The room devastated so that it looked like nothing the room of methodical Aunt Natsuhi. But the thing that caught the eye before that was Goda-san's body lying face down right in front of the door. One of those demon stakes had been rammed right into the center of his chest, almost as though it had been stuck there to finish off a vampire. Exactly how far would it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? My own chest hurt just imagining it. Gouged the chest was the 5th Twilight. Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal, but maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room where 3 bodies lay. And along the wall farthest into the room, George Aniki was dead. This time, one of those stakes had been rammed right in the center of his stomach. Gouging the stomach was the 6th Twilight, I think. Shannon-chan's... she's the only one who got art. Shannon-chan's body was face down over the front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. It is in its horribly broken mirror, sprayed with blood. Had she seen her final worldly expression? Sexy corpse. Because she was face down, I couldn't see her face, but I could imagine even without seeing it. Nearby in the sea of blood she lay in, a demon stake had fallen. Only the 4th Twilight was left. Gouge the head and kill. Maybe my heart was completely tired out and dead. Even though I knew what I was doing was wrong, I lifted her head and checked, and confirmed that my guess was right on the mark. There was a gaping hole in Shanan-chan's forehead, and her insides were dripping out. Not only that, you could even see inside her hot. After seeing that, I finally noticed what I was doing was wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now it was probably pointless. Hey, Battler-kun! We have to leave everything alone until the police come. What do you think you're doing, touching it? What will you do if our precious evidence for the crime scene gets disturbed? Auntie Rosa yelled furiously at me and even yanked the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt and gazed dimly up at the ceiling. Maria. Now even the 8th twilight is over. What was the 9th twilight again?
On the 9th twilight, the witch revives, and none shall be left alive.
I see. So now the Golden Witch Beatrice will be revived. What then? On the final 10th twilight.
On the 10th twilight, the journey ends, and you shall reach the home of the gold. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will be opened. Very soon.
The witch revives and none shall be left alive, you say. We're going to die? Or is the sacrificial ritual over now and our journey will end and we can make it to the Golden Land? Our journey, yeah, right. We've spent the whole day trying to find the culprit, racking our brains as we tried to break out of this situation. And we haven't gotten anywhere. It's like they say, thinking stupid is no better than sleeping. That's right, we've spent the whole day burning ourselves up with hatred and paranoia. We said we could only trust dead people. And we came all the way here just to check out their dead faces. If we're like this, how can you say we can make it to the Golden Land? That's right, if nothing could be solved, it would have been much better if we had locked ourselves up the whole time without thinking at all. Grandfather was the wisest of us. He'd been shut up in his room since yesterday without any contact with anyone. That would have been fine. Grandfather was the most correct. He's probably dead.
It'll be alright, Battler. If you're with me, it'll be alright. Witches are very fickle, and they're terrifying beings who maybe kill humans for fun sometimes. But if you're together with me, it'll definitely be alright. So don't be afraid.
Thank you. Even if that's just to comfort me, it makes me happy. After Auntie Rosa finished investigating their deaths, she proclaimed that she would seal this room again, chased the rest of us out, stole back the master key she had lent to me, and locked the door again. It seemed that Georgianiki had been holding the original key to Aunt Nazi's room. She had also collected that. Wait a second. She had all of the master keys in her hand. And if the original key had been shut up inside that room, wasn't this another locked room? So this is a 4th locked room? Now that we had been released from our suspicion of those 3, we once again returned to the parlor. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are safe and everyone alive is a wolf, then all that's left is me, Auntie Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san. Only those, grandfather, and that 19th person, the guest who I hadn't even sensed, Beatrice. 13 people had died and 6 were left. With only 6 people, how would the wolves and sheep puzzle end? Even though the puzzle, which had had 19 people in it, had been reduced to a mere 6, I couldn't find any answer. We returned to the parlor. I felt a little anxious that while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the door to the parlor, but thankfully there was none.
Thank you, Genji-san. This is far enough. Please rest for the day.
Certainly. Then if you will allow me to rest.
Hey, Auntie Rosa, are you saying that you'll leave Genji-san all alone in a situation like this?
You're right. I do think it's very dangerous. But in that case, why is he safe? After those 3 headed to Natsume-san's room, he was alone the whole time. And yet he's safe. It's the wolves and sheep puzzle. Why would an isolated sheep, a sheep in its weakest position, be safe?
Probably because by coincidence there weren't any wolves?
Wrong. Because it wasn't a sheep.
Are you saying Genji-san's a wolf?
彼は一人で厨房
He
にいた
said
そ
that
う
he
だ
was
けど
alone in the
それ
kitchen,
は
but
証
that's
明不能
impossible
よ
to
南條
prove.
先生たち
The
の
only
死体を
ones who could
運ん
have
だり
carried Dr.
ジョージ
Nanjo
君
and
たちを
Kumasawa-san's
殺したりできたの
corpses
は
and who could have killed
彼ら
George
と
and the
ベア
rest
ト
were
リーチ
him
だけ
and
なのよ
Beatrice, right?
待てよ。
Wait,
それ
with
は
that
誤じゃ。
argument, anyone.
バトラ様、
Battler-sama,
お気遣いを。
thank you for your concern.
私は
I believe that the trust will be won not with 100 excuses, but with a single unending faithfulness.
たとえ信頼を
Even
いた
if
だ
I
け
am
な
not able to gain your trust, I wish to be faithful until the end. What a man. Genji-san.
なら決まりね
Then it's settled.
あなたが本当
If
に
you are
無実
truly
なら
innocent, the police will
それ
prove
は
that for
明日
us when they
やってくる
come
警察だから。
tomorrow. So until
それまで
then,
の
we
間
cannot remove you from
あなたは
suspicion.
長年
After your
後ろ
long
宮家に
years of
仕えてくれ
service to
た
the
あなたに
Ushiromiya family, I
こん
find
な
it
仕打
truly
ちをするの
painful
は
to treat
本
you
当に
so
心苦
poorly.
しいんだ
Yeah,
け
I'm
ど
sure.
今夜は
But
別
please
れる
understand for
そ
tonight.
して
Then, when tomorrow
明日に
comes,
なった
please
ら
let me make up with you
もう
again. Genji-san gave his head a small
今
shake.
日も明日も
Whether today or tomorrow,
私は
I will
後ろ宮家
continue
の
to be a
使用人
servant
で
to
あ
the
り
Ushiromiya
御用があり
family.
ましたら
If you have any
いつで
business,
も
please say
申し
so at
付け
any
ください。
time.
それでは
Then, if you will excuse me. After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall. And we entered the room. Even though Auntie Rosa still held all of the master keys herself, she began another thorough check of the inside of the parlor. She opened the curtains and checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it, I felt like it didn't really matter anymore. If I said anything unnecessary, it would turn into another fight. For a while I gazed at her from the corridor, figured I had waited just about long enough, and entered the parlor behind her. If she can't trust anyone but the dead, she should just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand. And then in the end, she'll realize that she herself was the wolf. And then she can blast through the head of the final wolf, and the curtain will close on this insane murder theater. Damn. Talk about disillusionment. He liked this woman this morning. As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I had been encamped before, and rudely rested both of my feet on the table. Or was about to, when I found something there and stopped my feet.
なんだ
What is this? Right there, almost as though it was addressed to me, was a Western envelope. It was that envelope from before with the seal of the one-winged eagle, and it was unopened. Wait. What is this? Then who put it in a place like this? I had been sitting here the whole time until I went with everyone to check the corpses. There hadn't been anything, and when I returned, it was here. It's all right. There was no problem with the locks on the windows. This room is safe. I heard Rosa muttering that. Wait. We had made sure this room was safe when we exited it. We had checked that the windows were all perfectly locked, and we had locked it, come back, and the windows were still locked. Then wait, who had put this letter here and how? I opened the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The first page had a magic circle drawn on it in something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. And there was a writing on the other page. Are you making progress solving the riddle of the epitaph? Very, very soon you'll run flat out of time. The 9th twilight will start very soon. There was no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice.
Battler, what is that?
Right. When I came here just now, it was just placed here.
どうしたのマリア
What happened, Maria?
バ
Huh?
トラ君
Battler-kun, that letter?
いやその
Wait,
ここに置いてあったん
it
だ
was just placed here.
どうしてだよ
Why?
この部屋はちゃんと
Even though
戸
we
締まりをしていたの
properly
に
checked to make sure this room was
どう
closed.
してだよ
Why?
どうして
Why?
マリア
Maria,
Yes,
come here. Auntie Rosa closed her eyes just a little and after silently thinking something told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's words. As she did, something unbelievably happened. She's about to shoot Battler. Auntie Rosa pointed the barrel of the gun at me.
バトラ君
Battler-kun, I've concluded that you are a wolf. Why?
私は
When I came into the room just now, I saw that there was nothing at all on the table, and I know that Maria did not approach that table. It was for a short time, but the only one who approached the table and claimed to have found the letter is you.
そんなのって
How can
い
you...
や
Wait, that's all screwed up. I did think he was fucking up by not saying something like right away. Why would I put something like this here? Wait, I just found something suspicious and reported it, right? Why are you suspecting me? Because only you could set that letter there. That's right, this is all a charade. You pulled an envelope from your pocket and then acted as though you had just found it to create the illusion that the witch entered the locked room, set down a letter, and left. You dumbass. Are you thinking like that again? Because of something like that? You're going to suspect me? Cut that out. My family has been killed. Why would I, of all people, take part in the culprit scheme? Yes, even under the assumption you could receive a large amount of money, I don't want to believe a demon exists who would sell their own parents. But maybe he does. No, that's a bad way to say it. What if, in your eyes, Battler-kun, Rudolph Nissan, and Kiryu-san weren't your parents? What? Think about what you're saying. Dad is dad. Sure, I'm not related to Kiryu-san by blood, but she's like a big sister to me. Don't you dare say otherwise, you bastard.
Stop it!
Stop saying ooh ooh. I'm sorry, that was a bad way to say it. Of course Ushiromiya Battler-kun might be Rudolph Nissan's child. But are you really Battler-kun, the son of Rudolph Nissan? What the hell are you talking about? If I'm not Battler, then who else do I look like? All of us, including Rudolph Nissan, reunited with you after a 6-year gap. No one can prove that you really are Ushiromiya Battler, right? Maybe you aren't really Ushiromiya Battler, but someone who snuck in trying to skillfully steal the wealth of the Ushiromiya family. Can you clearly prove that you are Ushiromiya Battler? Right here, right now? Cut it out, damn it! I am me, Ushiromiya Battler. If we're going to doubt even that much, are you really Ushiromiya Rosa? I am myself, no one else. Yeah, that's right, it's just as you say, the only one you can trust other than corpses is yourself. If you're going to say that much, it's time I argued back. The door to Aunt Nazi's room, where George Aniki and the others died, was locked. George Aniki was holding the key to that room, right? And by now, the only one holding a master key is you. Weren't you the only one who could have locked that room? My reasoning goes like this. You're in contact with the real culprit, and while I wasn't looking, you lent them one of the 5 master keys. I wouldn't do that. See, there are 5 of them here, right? As if that matters. You could have had them set in a prearranged spot and then collected it back. And weren't you the one who said it was suspicious whether there really are 5 master keys? So how are you saying that someone other than yourself set that letter there? As long as you can't prove that, you are a wolf. Shut up! Then why don't you show me some proof? How do you say the culprit killed George Aniki and the rest in that locked room? How did they lock it?
You're absolutely and totally correct. Nazi's room was exactly the same, just like usual. The door and the windows were locked from the inside. There were no frauds or tricks, no means of secret passage, nor places in which to hide. Nazi's own key was in George's pocket and locked inside the room. That leaves only the 5 master keys, and Rosa was holding all of them. And while I'm at it, the parlor is the same. The key to the parlor itself is sealed away in the servant room, so unlocking it with anything but a master key is impossible. The locked room definition of the room is the same as always. Come on, there's only one suspect now. Or are you still playing dumb Ushiromiya Battler?
Shut up! You keep silent as well.
You're the one who should keep silent. How do you say that letter was sent there by someone other than you?
As long as you can't prove that you're a wolf. If I can be suspected, you can be suspected. You try showing me some proof. Weren't you the first one to enter the room and begin checking the windows? Then you anticipated that I'd return to where I'd be sitting before and secretly place the letter. I can also suspect that this is your trap, can't I?
Why would I use a trap like that? If I was a wolf, I'd shoot you with this gun without question.
That's no reason. Maybe because you couldn't commit murder in front of Maria, you chose the roundabout route of setting a clever trap. Now the master keys are in your hands, so this place in the room is just a while ago. All you're doing, aren't they? You can talk your way out of this and let me hear your excuse. That's right, you've been suspicious from the start. Why is it that 6 of the adults in the family conference were killed and you were the only exception? Why were you the only one not in that chapel? There could only be one reason. You called Dad and the rest out there and killed them. Damn it, damn it. That explains everything, doesn't it? Don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Stop saying things that don't make sense!
Stop it! You mustn't fight! Mama too, Battler too, stop it! Stop it! It's no one's fault, it's not Battler or Mama's fault. The witch did all of this. She did it with magic. It's no one's fault.
Maria thrust herself in between me and Auntie Rosa, both of us incensed. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. At that instant, I became filled with shame. Tears flowed from my eyes. That's right. It's all the witch's fault, isn't it? All this about keys and tricks and alibis. All of it was stupid. Even though it's the work of the witch, we weren't able to trust each other as fellow humans. Right, Auntie Rosa? From the beginning, there wasn't a human culprit. It was all the work of the witch. So there's no way you're the culprit, and there's no way I'm the culprit, or Maria, or Genji-san, or anyone. Why has it come to this? Why am I screaming with Auntie Rosa, who I love? Why am I having this fight? With the kind aunt who I loved. Why does everyone have to suspect each other? I'm not going to doubt my auntie. I'm not going to doubt anyone. It's all the work of the witch. It's all the work of Beatrice. It's all a crime that Beatrice committed with magic. Beatrice, please show yourself here and confess to us that you did everything. Begging once more. You gonna get down and kiss them shoes? I've already had enough already. I've had enough of doubting each other like this. So forgive us. Release us. Release us from this hell of suspecting each other until we see each other's deaths. Give me my kind relatives and cousins back. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it all. You definitely exist. You win. Show yourself. Oh, Beatrice. She gonna do it? No. Am I still alive? Unbelievable. He is. Oh, desire. Sacrifice sheep to God! Kinzo seemed to have finally fallen into a doze at some point. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m. Her ritual. I wonder how far has it progressed? It must have progressed quite far by this time. Kinzo lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch that he had gazed at every day. Beatrice, very soon I will be able to be reunited with your smile. It doesn't matter if I die. I could just see your smile once more. I would gladly give this life of mine. So, I beg you, let me meet with you one more time. We really needed another one of these interludes, I guess. And let me swear my love to you. Let me apologize for my crimes. But I won't let you escape. You are mine. From your hair to the tips of your toes to the dirt under your nails, you are mine. Every fragment of your flesh is mine. Even the broth of your corpse is mine. I won't let you escape this time. You won't spill from my hands. I'll make you mine for all eternity. I will never let you escape a second time. I will never let you escape a second time. Kinzo howled in rage, then suddenly fell to his knees as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant, he had started sobbing. That's wrong. That's not what I wanted to say, Beatrice. Please, let me meet you one more time. Even if you only let me apologize. You are beloved, yearned for. I was wrong. If you would just smile, I wouldn't need anything else. I made a mistake. I got it wrong. I did something that cannot be taken back. In atonement, I have offered the whole remainder of my life in order to apologize to you, in order to atone for my sins. I have offered everything. Please, even if it is as I die, at least let me say one word of apology. Oh shit. As Kinzo shook and cried, behind his small back a butterfly appeared out of nowhere like a flake of gold leaf and softly fell down. You fool, Kinzo. Do you think a woman exists who would fall for a man's tears? Well, even if it wouldn't make a human woman fall for you, it might for a woman who is not human. Kinzo, do you remember the board position of our chess game which we never finished? Kinzo, as though he had suddenly remembered something, approached the chess set. The game he had been playing with Nanjo until yesterday remained there still. He wiped the pieces from the chessboard with a wide sweeping motion and began to line them up again one by one. It was to set up for a game in progress. That's right. Like this. I advanced my queen. That was a very spectacular move. Might have been a little too intense for you. I deliberated whether you would throw away your piece or not. Deliberated and deliberated. Kinzo waited with the opposite seat empty. Surely very soon his opponent would appear there, and he would be able to restart this game again. You fool, Kinzo. You want to apologize? You want to see my face again? You want to make my smile an eternal thing? Why can't you say a much, much simpler word, even though that is the single element of the world? At the time, Kinzo muttered, a prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering. I love you, Beatrice. They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say without any evil intent. You really are a fool, Kinzo. If you ever have the chance to do your life over again, know that those words could never cause a woman to fall for you. Yes, not without a miracle. So this... Just then, Kinzo definitely heard a small knock with a different tempo than those of the servants. Who is it? The woman beyond the door didn't answer. I'm asking who you are. Will you not answer? The woman beyond the door didn't answer. Could it be? Oh, could it be? Beatrice? 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 The woman beyond the door answered. On the 9th twilight the witch revives, and none shall be left alive. I have a feeling we're very close to the end of chapter 2, but I don't know how close. And I also have a feeling that immediately after finishing chapter 2, there will be some extensive extra bits. So I think we might call it here. Finish chapter 2 in the next stream, and then do all the stuff that unlocks after finishing chapter 2 in that stream as well. So we've been going for almost 3 hours, and I don't want this to end up being 4 hours. And I also don't want the next stream to open with me just doing the aftermath stuff. Alright. We'll stop it here. I may or may not end up streaming again tonight. Just a late night, ridiculous stream. Maybe an editing stream, because I have a bunch of videos I want to edit, and I don't really want to just like... There's no reason not to be streaming while doing it, is kind of my thought process. And I want to normalize myself to streaming just like all the time, doing all kinds of different stuff that maybe I normally don't do on stream, but like there's no reason I shouldn't, you know. Should we set a date for the next Umi stream so people know when to tune in? The timing of this stream was very good for us Brazilians. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, whenever Ellen's available is really the main thing. Like I didn't want to do it like 2 nights back to back. It's not as profitable as other streams, which right now matters because I really need to make a lot of money for rent. So I'm not trying to like stack these on top of each other if they're not the most, you know, cost-effective thing to be doing right now. But, you know, at least once a week is fine. I think it's been 8 days since the last one, actually. It ended up being a little longer than I expected, but you know, it seems like the peak hours to do this are between like 7 and 11 p.m. for y'all down in Brazil. So whenever it's those hours and y'all are available, that's pretty much when we'll do it. So the more people's schedules I know, the better. Yeah, figure out your schedule, Alan, indeed. If you could tell us exactly what days are the best for you in the next week, that will help. All right, I'm going to sign off. And you already sent me your entire schedule. Did you send me that in like a DM? I'll have to look at it again. Okay. Good night.